Buh. What's going on? It's your boy Booda. Back in the building. Wow. Tonight,
Goodness gracious, buddy. Dude.
I was going to introduce you. You give me time. We are joined by a very, very, very special guest. You all know him. You love him. You've probably missed him as much as me. It's the boy Tweacz.
What's up, fellas?
Well, what's up, Booda gang? What's up, chat? It's been a little while. Apologies for a little bit of a late start, I guess, or a dramatic entrance, as Zeke typed in chat. I was trying to let Lady Booda to convince me to go back and do this, because now she's been spoiled. She hasn't had to share me with the Booda gang for quite some time. So, but
Makes sense. I wouldn't share either. Wait, what?
you always just flatter me so much. Don't make me blush. Don't make me blush. But Tweacz, I've missed you, buddy. I've missed you. I've been watching you and the Sassy Cats from the shadows. Still holding it down. Definitely some changes, but you're still in there. You're still doing the thing.
Yep. Still grinding the game out for sure. I mean, we had the after you so gracefully left us last year, we did form that Overpowered podcast, and we had it running for it was like 30 some episodes, I think. But it was, I mean, almost a whole year we made it.
I know.
Before it became kind of a chore, as you very well know that can happen.
It does. It does. It still. You held it down. You and the Sassy Gang, or the Sassy Cats. I just merged the two.
Yep.
Corono, Vember. Shout out to Vember. Love the V man. Belly
was there for a minute.
Was holding it down. Alt Tech. I'm forgetting some names, but yep. It was great. It felt like I was still tapped in without needing to do all the work, which was kind of cool. But yeah, it does become a lot. So anyway, you recently stopped the podcast. How many weeks ago?
It was Guile. So the end of the Street Fighter collab, which was beginning of February. So I want to say probably 2 months. 2 months-ish ago.
Do you mean GACHA?
Oh my god. Please no. Please don't say GACHA in live podcast. Guys, listen, I told him that's not how you say it, and he's like, well, now I have to say it. You don't pronounce it GACHA. It's like it makes me cringe just thinking about it.
GACHA, the Guido. I mean, you pointed out they're spelled very similarly.
I said, say it like you would guide. 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 Guile. Please.
English.
GACHA. Get out of here.
GACHA, man.
You're the worst.
It's GACHA. GACHA.
Anyways, that was the last podcast we did. And you know what? There was like, I wasn't happy with the game at that point. And the game itself wasn't interesting to me. It became a chore to do the podcast itself. Like, I didn't feel like honestly, the game deserved the attention. Now, not everything has changed, but there has been feedback has been obviously noticed, and they're trying to get better. So I can appreciate that much, and that's why I don't mind jumping on and doing a podcast for this right now.
Yeah.
I'm actually excited to.
Speaking of, same exact reasons why I wanted to do a podcast reunion. So just full disclosure, this is not an this is not the start of like the return of constant videos or postings, I think, from either of us. You definitely got more active with the anniversary update.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I've kind of always said, like, I'm not going to quit content creation, but I'm just, I've always started this as a hobby. I'm going to do it as I want, when I want, and for things that I enjoy and for things that I find interesting. And that's what I've been doing. But
there were a lot of really cool updates that I think hit the chords of some of us vets, Tweacz, myself. And I thought, what better way to celebrate the 5th Anni, the good, the bad, than with a podcast reunion. So I hit up the boy Tweacz. He was happy to oblige, and here we are. So thank you all for being here. I love seeing the chat blown up. Sorry I haven't addressed anyone. I'm just kind of like in the zone. It's been a while.
Catch-up mode.
And
catch-up mode.
We have a lot to talk about. So we need to get to that.
Oh my god, there's a lot to talk about.
But just to update you guys, because another big reason, Tweacz, that I wanted to jump on this is because I miss you all. And what we have is special, and it always will be to my heart. So I feel like I don't know, owe it to you guys to give you a little bit of insight into what's going on. Life's been crazy. I've been working the IRL game like crazy. And some of you may have noticed with me waving my hands around. But it's official, y'all. Your boy Booda is officially hitched.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations, Booda.
Thank you.
I'm sure everyone's very excited for you. That's awesome.
Thank you, Tweacz. A lot of people showed a lot of support when I posted the engagement photo on the profile. And Tweacz, that's not the only thing.
What's not the only thing?
So Tweacz knew about the marriage before we did this.
Oh.
But
correct.
there is a bit of significance to the background that we chose today, Tweacz.
Oh. Did we choose Megas and Kaine and the baby Kyle?
That is baby Kyle.
Is there something that I'm missing?
Who symbolizes an incoming baby Booda.
Oh shit! Yes, buddy. I was like, dude, there's no way you're like messing with me right now, because I'm like, are we talking about Kyle right now? This is a transition. This is a weird transition. That is awesome. Congratulations, dude.
Thank you.
That's so awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Oh shoot.
Yeah. So I figured I'd hold that little surprise for you two, Tweacz, and the rest of them.
Oh my god. A baby Booda in the building?
Bro, we've been leveling up. Brandon, welcome to the channel. We've been leveling up IRL. We don't know.
What?
We don't know baby boy Booda, baby girl Booda. We don't know yet. So that's TBD. I'll keep y'all posted.
There's a Booda fish incoming.
But there is a Booda tadpole in the making. So
Oh my goodness.
life is moving, y'all. Booda dad. You know it.
Dang,
You
that's
know,
epic.
You know. Oh, and we could talk about it later. I'm saving my
You were holding this
crystals.
back from me? That's messed up.
Listen, I had to drop it. I had to keep something worth surprising you on the podcast, bro.
Threw me off.
Sorry.
That last minute, yeah, let's use this background. You threw me off, dude. You had that plan the entire time.
Anyway, love you guys. Thank y'all for loving the Booda fam, being part of it. And Tweacz, I think we need to start this show, man, because there's
Sure. I just want to say
talk.
congratulations to you, and I
Thanks,
just want
brother.
to shout out Lady Booda. Congratulations to her for not only strapping you down, but it's gonna be fun for both of you to have a little Booda tadpole running around. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Awesome. That's awesome, dude. Seriously, congrats.
Thank you, brother. It's an honor to be able to share that with you guys. So
Dope. Yeah.
anyway,
You want to jump in?
a lot of updates, Tweacz.
Oh my god,
updates.
there's so much. We even have like a flow chart here.
Yeah. I have notes. I have a
Oh
breakdown.
man.
We got a list, y'all. We got topics. So, without making this a 3-hour pod, we
Do that.
have Super Saiyan Kyle.
Super Saiyan Kyle, and I updated the tier list and had it like as a Goku picture with Super Saiyan Kyle before the maintenance notice, and people were like giggling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's essentially what it is, right? Like blonde hair, like it reminds a lot of us of the DBZ stuff, so it was kind of funny. But
100%.
he's pretty cool.
Oh, look at you.
Very cool. But yeah, why don't we jump into his kit? And this is
For
what we,
old time's sake.
used to do, of course. Just jump into the kit, explain about Kyle. This is Kyle, Knight of the Pale Flame. This is his second shift, with his OG form being pretty outdated. His Night Lord, he's just not very good anymore. Just flat out. But Pale Flame, I can get down with. He is, in the current setting, a pretty good unit. And let's go over just what he's about. So he's a soldier. He is a light unit, which is a little bit confusing because his entire art and his sprite are very fiery, which is not out of the realm of like, light being hot, the sun. I get it, fire, things being singed and whatever. But it's just, it's such good art, good sprite. His sprite's easily one of my favorite ones in the game. I don't know about you.
Oh my god, yes. I mean, it's
With
literally
the flaming cape.
Dude, for me, it's Dragon Ball meets LC into a pixel character. Like, it's amazing. With a sword. Just throw in Trunks' sword in there. It's great.
Yo, legit.
Yeah.
Seriously. I agree with you completely. Pretty dope. But he is going to be a melee unit. Now, skills-wise, he does have 3 skills. One warp being his S1, Crimson Edge, Burning Soul, and Blazing Nova. The hit counts are 10, 15, and 22. So just keep that in mind. The S1 being a single wielding instantly close the gap for a medium area light combo attack, wide area light combo attack for S2. And we'll show these animations in a sec. We're going to go in the unit playtest and check them out. Blazing Nova being his S3, charge and deal frontal wide area light combo attack. This thing, his S3 is probably one of the coolest animations I've seen out of a skill in a very, very long time. The unfortunate part for gameplay wise, while it might be enjoyable, it is extremely slow. It is the longest, keep in mind, this is the longest animation of any unit, or longest skill animation of any unit for over 16 months. Almost a year and a half. This is the longest skill animation of any unit in almost a year and a half.
That's wild. But it does look fantastic.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's beautiful, but it's
not
it takes forever, bro.
It's not what we'd consider Tweacz meta.
No, and I'm a very meta. I love the fast animations. I love fast units like the 2Ps of the world, the fouls, the clods. I love DPS. DPS is what breathes into me, right? Yeah, it's a very cool looking skill, and I know, dude, there's so many people that love it, and I can appreciate the art as well for the S1, S2, and S3. But yeah, DPS ain't there. Special though, either Braver, light combo attack to 1 target, followed by a powerful light combo attack to all enemies. This is going to be a 2-part hitter. So the first part is 1 target. I think it's the first 20 hits, and the last 32 are all AoE to the entire enemy party. So yeah, it's cool. It's not bad damage, but it's definitely not going to be your top tiers like your Ryu's, your Freya's, your Shift Levi's. So keep that in mind. It's good. It's just not crazy. Trait-wise is where he gets very interesting. He does have a lot of, I mean, he's generally pretty straightforward, but he has some interesting stuff in his kit. Knight of the Pale Flame being his trait 1. He wants to be single wielding just to get the max amount of boost in his kit. His innate boost in his kit do love single wield, without a doubt. Flight damage 40%, damage cap plus 40,000. When skill attacking enemies weak to fire, chance to deal a powerful fire extra attack. Now this is through some people out there like, wait, what? He's like a light unit, but he wants people weak to fire. Yes, and that's only to really proc his pursuits. We call them pursuits. You can call them extra attacks, whatever you want to do. But it's a 15% chance for essentially an extra hit. A 95 to 100% chance. Sorry, a 15% chance for a 95 to 100% damage fire attribute pursuit. And if they're already weak to it, you know they're probably going to get hit for that 100% damage. But it's 15% of the time, so you know your 10 hit S1 is going to be on average going to be 11.5 hits of damage, essentially. It's nothing crazy to add to his damage, I would say, mostly because it's just modifying his base DPS, which isn't that high in the first place. But it does add for some pretty strong damage whenever he does get it to proc. It's fine with me. And then a flat damage taken minus 30% is going to be increasing his bulkiness. And like we'll see, there's really not too much bulkiness in his kit. I really don't enjoy like him in arena per se, because he just gets absolutely mollywopped by most of the meta units that are attackers. But he's not, and being soldier type, being human typing with no anti-typing defense, like it's unfortunate, but his main go-to is PvE for sure. Trait 2, Soul Blade activate, won't flinch from fire, dark magic, physical magic attacks. Now these aren't very common, I would say, and even in the new battles, especially or the new Zaylon battle, it's like all non-attributed attacks, so it doesn't even help there, even though he was just released to be used in there. but it's fine. I mean, it's kind of like the Adele thing, kind of like the Kaine thing. I think something to do
What
with
is it? Which part?
the first part that won't flinch from certain attributes.
Yeah, that's
it's not as pure as Adele. I know Adele has like pure, like he doesn't flinch at all from any of those attribute attacks. This is just strictly physical and magic from those two attributes.
right.
So it's not perfect, but he's like a lineage of Adele.
No, it's still physical and magic. It's not as OP. Resist flinch from fire, earth, physical, and magic attacks. So it's.
Can you scroll down real
the
quick?
Same, right? Same
See
thing.
the bottom part.
It just switches the elements.
Okay, so it is still fit. I mean, I really thought it was something different. My bad. But regardless, that's not a huge part of this kit, I would say. When units get Oversoul buff, which is his like main gimmick. Oversoul is him activating a spell, and we'll get talking to what exactly it does. It's an activatable spell, but when he does do that, he restores 1 SCT stock for all skills, and when it's active, he gets a big special damage boost, and damage cap plus 50,000. Skill and special damage. 50%, 50,000 cap. And won't flinch from all attribute physical and magic attacks. Which that part is also not that important, I would say. And like we've seen, and a lot of people have experienced in the New Zealand fight, which is a very good place to use him because super light weak. A lot of non-attribute damage, so it's kind of like he nullifies his effects right here. But let's talk about his skill cost stuff, his free stuff. Now I don't have the Oversoul on, so why don't we put that on? No skill cost. Thank you. Set only. Thank you. Passives. All. Be better, Tweacz. All right. Charisma. I actually really like his charisma. Fair play. Give all allies damage to boost boss monster plus 20%, damage cap 3,000, which is good in and of itself. It's a nice boost. But I think more importantly is the damage taken.
Damage taken.
Mitigation, right?
Yep.
I have found that the mitigation is substantial. I mean, just an extra minus 20% for all allies, as long as you're fighting a boss, is nice. Plus damage boost. I mean, I actually really like his charisma, to be fair, and double dipping for dual wielders.
Yeah. It's
flat damage cap, flat damage boost. I'm just a fan, and I love PvE content, so this is what I live
Scratches the itch.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Oversoul is the kind of thing we talked about. This is a castable buff. Use all MP to give the unit Oversoul buff for 20 seconds. Can't reuse for another 40 seconds. This is what activates his SCT stock recovery, like 1 per each skill. Also gives him that 50% damage boost and 50,000 cap on skill and special. Very nice to use. Now it does say can't reuse for another 40 seconds, but that counts that 40 seconds starts counting down whenever he does activate it the first time. So if you end it with 20 seconds and there's 20 seconds left, after that next 20 seconds per se, you will have it available. So you only have 20 seconds cooldown. You can extend this, mind you. There are a few things in this game to extend it. Now I'm just gonna talk about that real quick. I think I could probably find them very, very quickly. The G bracelet, which is a story item. Right here. This is a story item. Duration of buffs from active skills plus 10%. This does affect his Oversoul buff. So this would throw his 20 seconds into 22 seconds. There's also the Mirror Prom Room, which I think is down here for me. Yep, the Magic Mirror Prom Room as an accessory. Duration of buffs from units active skills plus 15%. This upgrades at another 3 seconds. This turns 20 seconds into 25 if you have both of those things on there. And I'm just going to quickly go back and throw a couple arc suggestions out here. So buffs. There are a few things in this game that do give them. There's a couple SSRs, and the main one that I'm going to bring up is the first SSR in the game. One of the first SSRs in the game is the Velda Org. Now, this description on here says duration of stat buffs from unit active skills plus 50%. This is essentially incorrect. All buffs. If you just remove the stat, if it's just said duration of buffs from units active skills plus 50%, it would be correct. That adds an extra 10 seconds onto his timer for Oversoul, because these duration buff extensions are additive. So it turns, if you had both accessories, you had this on, those turns that 20-second Oversoul buff into 35 seconds, which is only a 5-second cooldown to activate it again, which is kind of dope. I like that a lot. I actually like the Stardust Live Arc as well, which is interesting. It only gives a 35% which adds an extra 7 seconds. And again, the stat buffs, don't pay attention to this. Just ignore the word stat. Duration of buffs from units' active skills plus 35%. So that's 7 seconds. It's beautiful. Not quite as much as VOD.org, but this also gives you an extra stock of skills. Very cool. And I think the SR, there might be more than this, but I think these are the only 3 that come into mind right now. The Eternal Clock Durrell, this is an extra 30%, so this gives an extra 6 seconds, but also increases the enemy's debuffs and enemy break recovery speed.
Love that arc.
Increases the, I mean, this arc is fantastic, but enemy break recovery speed, it makes them 30% longer in break, as well as works on buffs, debuffs, and ailments, all last longer on the enemy by 30%, or on you.
I wish
Kinda
they
cool.
made
very,
more
very cool arc.
arcs with break extension.
Oh, for sure. I wish they made more very unique arcs, definitely. But just as a quick example, that's what I'm trying to say. You can actually extend this 20 seconds. I know I've been on a little bit of a little tangent there, but it's good to know. Now, you don't have to do this if you want to use this by itself and use the 20 seconds. And just wait 20 seconds to get it back. That's cool. Just real quick, I think I should probably go over something that most people will not know about, or new players may not know about, but veterans do, is Goddess Kiss. And I think you know what's funny about Goddess Kiss? I feel like this is the most reviewed thing I've ever take time to go out of my way to explain every single time it comes up. Because I feel like it's just a question that happens all the time. Like, hey, if I use all my MP, how the hell am I supposed to get more back? To use other things again, to use the full charges, the honey elixirs, the winning apple pies again and again, or oversouls again and again. Goddess Kiss is that guy, right? Regular attacks have a chance to absorb 2% of damage dealt as MP. When you regular attack and you have this on, you have a 10% chance to activate this, and it absorbs 2% of your MP or 2% of your damage as MP. That means if you hit for 20,000 damage on a regular attack, and this has a 10% chance of proccing, you'll get 400 MP back in that one single hit. This is how strong physical DPS, strong regular attackers get that MP back instantaneously. I'm assuming a lot of you have probably seen in my videos of me using units as SCT batteries, quote unquote, or getting their MP back. And I think in the Super Saiyan Kyle fight with Ruto and Emtheria against Zaylon that I put out, that video, I was using full charge, but I also had Goddess Kiss on there and kept using it over and over and over to get the full charge back and keep filling up his skill stocks and using Oversoul. And it's a repeat cycle process. So if you extend your buff timer, if you use Goddess Kiss before the end of it and you get some MP back, it's a very good way of cycling through Oversouls, cycling through full charges, cycling through Winner's Apple Pies, that kind of stuff. Goddess Kiss is one of the goated skills in the game, and it is only on the March of Saints arc, the SSR March of Saints. So it's something to note. If you want to reuse Oversoul in the same battle, you will need a way to get MP back, and the easiest way to do that is with Goddess Kiss. Now, he's a single wielder, 4-hit regular attack. Not ideal for it, but if you do it a bunch, you'll probably get one to proc. And it's based on your damage, so make sure you're doing damage. All right, good talk.
Important to know. There's a lot of new players
It is. And I think using that with Oversoul, using that with things like, the full charges that a lot of us suggested for new players to get for the UR arc with Metatron, it comes into play often. Okay, if you don't have it, that's unfortunate, but if you do, great, and you'll get it eventually if you don't have it. I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Just save 15k, wait for an arc selector, get one of the most important skills in the game. It's just it's that simple.
Rest of the kit, though, very straightforward, I would say. Attack up max, fighting spirit at 4, arrows up 4. This is just increasing his strength, HP, little bulkiness for defense. Crit up 3 for free, and Proud Force is going to help your sustain HP-wise. Royal Armor, 50% reduced crit rate against you, essentially. Divinity Buster is his anti-typing grouping in his kit. For physical attacks, specials, and counters, he gains free anti-type damage against gods, dragons, spirits, and undeads, which there are a lot of god bosses in the game. I would say there's a good bit of dragon bosses. Not very common for spirits and undeads, but those first two, very useful. Very useful. Anti-type shield, now he does not come with anti-type boost, which is unfortunate, but the anti-type shield, just because he's a soldier type, it's going to get a lot of anti-type damage against him, and that just helps mitigate it a little bit. Autogram Brave, Protection, Critical, and Haste. I think this is called the Holy Quartet. 35% strength boost, minus 35% physical damage, plus 15% crit rate, and plus 25% SCT recovery speed. Like, these are very common on a lot of units nowadays, and I'm glad he has them. Holy Armor 2, this is a minus 35% dark damage against him at any given time. It's essentially the same as a Holy Wall 2, but just constant. Pride 2, max HP, strength plus 30%. Sure. Light Drive, Light High Drive, Light Attack Race 4. I skipped over Light Drive Breakthrough 2. These are like, it's a good amount of boost, but it's not ideal. Like, I wish he had more boosts in here, like Light Mega Drive, even like Light Attackers 1 and 2 or 3. I mean, he does have quite a little bit of boost in his kit, and he's usually single wielding, so he has an easier time capping than a lot of other units, especially the dual wielders. But you know, it's whatever you want to deal with. I feel like they should have given him more. And then we have Light Drive Breakthrough 2, which just increases. He is mainly a single wielder. It increases his damage caps for light, physical, and special damage caps. Pose of Glory for free is always good. Kill units, get SCT back for his skills. Absolutely. Shockwave for free. Nullify enemies guard, 5% chance. Then we get into his single wielding stuff. Favorite sword, another 10,000 cap, 30%. Physical attack damage when equipped with only one weapon. Sure, he's mainly a single wielder. Instant strike is also going to be a mainly single wielder type thing. For any crits, I think it's like a 10% chance on physical attack crits. He has a chance for 150% damage and damage cap is 15,000. So these specific crits will cap very, very easily. Two-handed sword boost 4, which is absurd that we're up to 4 now. 30% physical attack special damage when equipped with one sword. And damage cap is 12,000. Sword Giga Boost, of course, being more damage to swords for physical attacks. 30% damage at 3,000 cap. A little bit more survivability here. Double Spirit, armored HP plus 3, which, you know, he has. This isn't specific to the armor itself. It's just anything in your armor slot. So it can be clothes, robe, or armor. I still hate that they haven't changed this wording, but 20% more HP. Indomitable Spirit is going to give him 1 lethal survive. And also give him a skill damage 30% boost afterwards. This comes into play in things like PvP, GVG a lot more often than it would be in PvE, but even against boss nukes, if he gets hit lethal, this will heal during time stop, like with a boss nuke. So it gives you a little bit more survivability, I would say. Giant Killing 4, 20% damage to bosses, and a 5,000 cap boost to bosses, which is hilarious. Pale Flame, this is his like extra damage, damage cap, and mitigation from divinity types. Just an extra boost that essentially Divinity Buster, which is fine. Blades of Justice is the same thing as Kaine essentially has. I think it's called the same exact thing, except now it's light weapons. So basically he wants a light attribute sword to get the max amount of strength boost from it. And his paid is obviously a light sword. There's Zajadojin, there's Excalibur. There's some very, very good options for light swords in the game, so don't feel like you have to get his paid at all. Unyielding Heart, when all other allies are incapacitated, damage plus 50%, damage taken minus 50%. This one's kind of funny. I think this is more in line with things like GVG type modes. PvP is not really that potent in the first place, and then PvE you probably want to keep your whole team alive generally. But GVG type modes is pretty funny, and I've seen some people use it to great effect so far. So have fun with that if you're planning on everyone else dying in your crew, because he gains a lot of damage potentially in mitigation.
Question.
Yeah.
Does there have to be allies for this to be active?
Yes. Yeah, someone has to be dead.
And
like it's activated while someone is incapacitated on your team.
So
and if they get rezzed back up, it deters. But it does not activate when you're the only unit in the party.
And remind me, the Luxeus Ark V2. Is that solo only or only?
That's solo only.
Solo only. Okay, so they can't stack.
You can't have any. It's a little bit different.
That's where I was getting at. Okay.
Yeah, you can't use this plus the. If you could use this plus the Luxeus Arc, that would be disgusting.
That'd be cool.
Not a thing though, unfortunately.
Yeah, that would have been nice. Round R2 GVG.
Now we get into the E6 stuff. The rest of this, the transcend things, are all the new type of enhanced 6 that they're bringing, that they're rolling out. This is supposed to be for every new unit coming out. They're going to have altered enhanced 6 nodes. Like before we had, some damage mitigation, some here and there. We had a bunch of cap stuff. that didn't feel like being worth it, in my opinion, for being an E6. Like, it costs almost 5 times as much plus more than in Enhanced 5, and it doesn't feel like it, right? This is what it always should have been. We got skill damage boost in here for an E6, 15% skill damage. We got more caps, yes. Special boost with damage cap. We got mitigation, which is a similar thing to what we've seen before. But then we also had sword mastery, some more damage cap, armor mastery, some armor defense and damage mitigation, and we have SET stuff in here. Transcend skill charge 1, which restores 15 seconds to skill 1, top left. Impressive. I don't know why they didn't do this before. I don't know if they're going to go back and reassess things with old units. They probably will not. And people have been asking, like, we have collab E6s coming up. Are they going to have this new type of E6? The answer is no. It's only new units that come out from here on out. The older units who are getting their applied E6s are going to have the old format, like we've seen with the mana units. They just gain cap and mitigation for the most part, and like little bits here and there different, maybe like buff duration and that kind of stuff, but nothing to this regard here. So I love this. I love the new. It's almost like calling it E6.5 because it feels like it's so much different than what Enhanced 6 was for so many units. And he's the first one to get this. So we expect the next unit, which is next week, and every following unit from here on out to have gotten this new revamped E6. So yeah, cool, dope, awesome. What he's missing in his kit and what I would suggest to add, and I don't know if I have actually a kit set up for this right now. I added some attack, I added some pride just because it stacks with pride 2, physical weak point boost. I added some single wielding sword boosts. He is missing two-handed sword and two-handed sword boost 2. I think these are learnable. These are obviously not for everybody and not everyone has that shit, but if you want to use it, you can. Sword Might is collab only, so whatever. Sword boost, sword high boost are going to be from free SSR arcs, so definitely slap those on if you have them. Skill charges, quick trigger, sure. Sharp eyes is cool if you want to get more skill damage. Power counter I was using just for other shit. Braver is a very good skill, and this is something that I've been throwing on to every single physical DPS I have just because I don't care about the damage taken. I think it's from the Karma Noog arc. One of the URs that came out with. Bro, who did that come out with?
Couldn't tell you.
Holy, I'm forgetting. Someone in the chat probably knows instantly. Yeah, but I added some SET on him and all that good stuff. So this is more of a build that I was running for the event, just getting him some SET and getting, soloing the bird boss and stuff. But yeah, he's very, very straightforward. Built like a lot of other physical DPS if you just want to use damage, skills, SET, stocks, etc. Just throw damage in there and get some damage mitigation maybe. But as for equipments, now I talked about how his sword was not going to be necessary, and I still feel that way. It is very good on him, but it is 50 friggin' credentials, boys. It's like $130. You can't bypass it at all. That's the cheapest it can be.
I mean, just
130 US dollars.
Just get 8K in Crimson if you really want it. And just wait.
Yeah, I mean, this will be in the shop in 6 months. If you really feel that strongly about Kyle in 6 months, first of all, God bless your soul. But if you feel like you need this in 6 months' time, it'll be in the Crimson shop for 8,000 because it's a 50 credential item. With that said, it is pretty good. It's a light attribute sword, so we need it for his Blades of Justice buff, or Blades of Justice strength boost. 400 HP, 373 strength. When only one weapon is equipped, light skill and special damage plus 40% damage cap plus 10,000, which people are like, oh my god, it's 10,000 cap. Well, it's still a single wielder, so it's like a 10,000 cap boost to a unit that hits already for 120 to 170,000 is not a huge boost, but it is still something. Light attack crit rate 5% and battle start restore 1 ST stock for 1 skill. This is like essentially an innate quick trigger. 40% damage boost, 5% crit rate, and the quick trigger makes this a very strong weapon. With that said, I don't think you need it. I really don't. I think there's plenty of options, in those being free to play. Holy Blade Zagidosian, which I can go like this. Holy Blade Zagidosian is the sword you get from combining the 2 dark swords from the 4 Lords event and the 5 capital battle lords. This is light physical attack damage, 25%. It's a light sword. At max, it gives you 392 strength, and yes, that 25% light physical attack damage. It's very good. But I would say is my favorite sword is the True Sword Excalibur, which is the third option here. This is like 1/6 of the cost of upgrading Holy Blade's Agitadotion to max. It's still light sword, 293 strength, crit rate 5%, and light physical attack damage plus 20%. I love this sword. I use it in preference because I want the crit rate anyways for him. And it's like 6 times cheaper.
I love that sword.
I love it. And these are both God Forgeable. This one is off of an SR arc plus one other weapon, but it's an SR arc essentially. Arc the reward, and then you God Forge it, and it's awesome.
Crit rate's hard to find.
Crit rate's hard to find. A good sword is not that easy to find, and I mean, Pure Blade Muramasa, but like I would be crafting this over as a Holy Blade Agitation any day, because it's so much cheaper to do, and honestly better in a lot of aspects. So that's an option. He does want an armor, doesn't he? Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we figured out the his one E6 node of armor, which is right here. Armor Mastery, it does have to be an armor equipped to get the armor defense plus 50%. This is specific to the armor typing of equipment, not clothes, not robe. So having, I mean, I have the Rex Forged Hex Armor on him right now.
I love that armor.
Because it qualifies as an armor. But the event one that you can get is perfectly fine. The Vanquish Male Finale. I have this max to plus 40. When taking attribute weakness attack, damage taken minus 50%, and magic attack damage taken minus 10%, just flat out. Also curse resistance. If you just wanted to put this on him and leave it on him forever, it's not even a bad option, to be fair. Pretty good. Pretty good. So let's get into what he's about. Let's go into the playtest mode. Let's see his skills in action. I think he shows out pretty well, and especially with them making these enemies like super weak to both light and fire, it makes him look real good.
Good marketing.
Yeah. Like we talked about before, his S1 is going to be his warp. So we're going to put him in the corner. Whoop. Get in there. And yes, like I said, the boss is weak to fire and light, so he's going to get his extra attacks. This is normally 10 hits, which they didn't proc any there. 12 hits there, getting a little extra fire pursuits. 1 there, and it's 15%. Holy shit, 15. That's pretty good. S3 is going to be his, like, he's got to be relatively close ranged. It's a right around his body AoE. I do love this skill as well. The animation's super sick. But his S3 is where it's at. Now, not ideal for DPS, but it looks just so good. There's like double of him just slicing. People were saying it looks like Night Lord Kyle's ult, which is hilarious because they're not wrong.
Yeah, it basically is.
They turned his ult into the S3, and then here we go. We got his ult. 52 hits. Beautiful, and I'm pretty sure my settings have the CGI cutscene off, so I apologize if you guys wanted to see that. The ult itself reminds me a lot of Adele's, reminds me a lot of OG Kyle, not OG Kyle, but Night Lord Kyle's.
Dude, these
very cool.
These new damage standards are just, they're so, I mean, we'll talk about it later, but compared to where we started
and where we even were like 2 years ago,
I'm telling you,
I mean, time changes. Power creep is real, but damn. Oversoul, let's go get 50k more cap. So during Oversoul we get 50,000 more cap, 50% damage boost on skills and special, plus we got some stocks back, but that's not going to show here because we did 180k. And you guys think, holy crap, Tweacz. Holy crap, Booda. 180k. That's amazing. Well, yes and no. Like,
the old DPS.
The old age-old discussion of caps versus DPS. There's 3 things that go into DPS. Damage per second, right? Since this is a game where damage is capped, right? We have damage caps times hits all over the animation time. There's 3 factors there. So the longer the animation time, the lower the DPS is going to be. The lower the hit count, the lower the DPS is going to be. The lower the caps, the lower the DPS is going to be. So we wanted the caps and hit count are fine in this guy. The animation time, yikes. Like, he does not break into the top 5 in DPS units, and it isn't even close. Even with Oversoul.
That is
even
wild
with
to me.
like
That is
100k
wild to me.
caps in Oversoul dual wielding.
Yeah.
He doesn't get there. His animations are just too slow. Now, mind you, he's super flashy looking. He caps very, very easily.
And he's
but
Super
he's just
Saiyan,
not
bro. And
Super
he's a
Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
I know, man.
Come on.
I know.
What more can you
He
want?
looks cool. He's one of the coolest sprites in the game for sure. But like in that mode right here, if I was using Goddess Kiss, I would want to use Oversoul, use his MP, grab all the MP back from Goddess Kiss. That's how you do it. Which I can't really even see in this end, but like, look, we'll do Oversoul. See, I'm at 0 MP, but if I was regular attacking here, 10% chance on each 4 of these hits to get it back. I would have had it by now. You see him hitting for like 50k. That's essentially 1,000 MP back with every hit, which caps him out. So like, all you need is 1 hit of it. Goddess Kiss is OP, legit.
It's quite nice.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good team rounder. He has a strong charisma against PvE bosses. I mean, if any of you have used him against the Zaylon fight, he does very, very well there. Light weak plus PvE boss, it's pretty fun.
All right.
PvP, not my guy. I don't think we need to show that. Him being a soldier without any bit of, not a lot of protection against anti-type damage, and a ton of those units have like Human Buster, Soldier Slayer, etc. He gets absolutely mollywopped.
I mean,
his damage mitigation does not save him.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but PvP to me looks like counter and mages.
So right now, because counter's so prominent and we have so many glass cannons that can get killed very easily by counter. If you're not manualing and if you're autoing, mage is the way to go. Counter's the way to go. Strong physical DPS. The meta DPS in arena are the ones that can kill the counter units before they can get killed themselves. So they need to be hitting hard enough. He doesn't hit hard enough to kill those units. Not even close. In my opinion, in top ranked PvP. So like, where does he fit in? He jumps in, hits them, and dies.
It's pretty much.
There are very few units. Meta right now is your Claudes for sure. Your Shift Mias, Pog Mias is an insane unit. And honestly, Mikasa's on defense. I mean, Luke has a sick Mikasa, but that costs a lot of SC. But your Mias and your Claudes are like the most meta ones right nowadays. And those are the ones that can, two of very few that can kill counter units, even fully defensive counter units. So like, he doesn't make that list. Not even close, unfortunately. Sorry to burst the bubble. PvP, he's ain't it. He is mainly a PvE type unit.
So, Smia, for that reason, well, I might be jumping a little ahead. What is it about the units, as you say, Smia, Mikasa, she's built right, Claude? Why? What do they have that?
They're innate modifiers.
They have their innate.
They have a lot of modifiers in their kit to boost their damage super high. They're mainly single wielders when you use them like that to kill counter units, and they're innate modifiers that we cannot see, that we cannot judge until they're tested.
Gotcha.
Like, do you remember when Shift Sarah came out at all? When we were like,
holy... I was on hiatus.
Well, we were like, holy crap, her modifiers are cracked out of this world, which they are, but she's a dual wielder. And she gets most of her damage when dual wielding, so it's hard for her to kill these guys in the first place, but strong single wielders are why they're so meta right now. Because they can pack all that punch into one hit. So you can use Savage Strike and pack that punch into single hits. Because the more you hit them, the more likely they are to counter and kill you. And being bulky. It's just, yeah. We're getting a little off track, but he doesn't make that fit. He doesn't fit the cut.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of relevant just to what you brought up. Innate modifiers. It's important to know because a lot of people a lot of new players especially, and even some veterans, forget that there are hidden numbers that you have no idea about until
they're tested.
And tested.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he keeps fine against PvE bosses. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So what was that? What's up next in the flowchart here? What do we got next?
If that's all we have to talk about for Super Saiyan Kyle, you are Ark.
You are Ark? It's your Ark time. Let's go. I actually really like this Ark, and me being one that likes to Ark Skill 10 these things. I was very excited for it.
Yeah, this
but
one
Soul Blade. Go ahead.
It just looks cracked.
It's a lot of damage. So the art obviously goes crazy. I think the art is so sick. It's Kyle Sword all in chains and just looks so dope. It's called Soul Blade. He actually he has the Soul Blade. That is his weapon. Super dope. But the arc trait itself is pretty good. Physical and special damage plus 30% damage caps 3,000. Right there, already just good. Physical damage and special damage boosting. But also when you have a sword, you get physical attacks and special. Your physical attacks and special get an anti-divinity type effect. Gods, dragon, spirit, and undead. Obviously, this doesn't meld with Kyle. Like he already has that. He has divinity buster, so it doesn't matter. But he also, the unit holding this also gets a damage taken from divinity types minus 20%. Now those two are very niche things. Those last two. If you're not fighting divinity types and you don't have a sword equipped, you're not going to get much bonus out of this. But even without those things, even getting an arc with physical and special damage 30% damage cap for 3,000 is already good. So you don't have to be fighting divinity to get a boost. But the learnables, they're okay. Fury, Fighting Spirit 3, Grudgebound Death is one that I'm more excited about just because when units die and for PvP GVG modes, having units take more damage from your other allies is good. Once you get killed. God Saber for 5 SC, sure. Two-handed sword boost 2, light attack raise 3. These are all very expensive. These last two especially are very expensive skills and shouldn't really be used unless you have the SC for it or are already capping because they're really not that damage per SC efficient. It's more their cost that much because they have cap to them.
Yeah, they love their
I feel like this game they overvalue cap quite a bit, but yeah, that's the cost we're working with here.
Especially
13 and 15 for just 8,000 cap.
Exactly. The problem is the ratios have changed so drastically. So a 6k cap raise on a modern unit is like less than 10% most of the time.
I mean, yeah. I mean, light attack raise 3 for a single wielder that's already hitting for 130k. 15 SC for just 2,000 more cap is like nothing.
Exactly. But
I mean, that's the cost. If you want to run it, these are what we like to call like luxury skills. If you have the space and want to put those on, if you're already capping, sure. But these are not like, I must have this. It's not really that important. More importantly, we'll go over the AR first. Seal of the Soul Blade, which actually, again, like the trait itself, it's a bit niche. Damage to divinity types and damage taken from divinity types. Damage boosting and damage mitigation against those types. If you're not fighting a divinity type, this is essentially a useless accessory, in my opinion. But if you are, it's pretty good. And especially with the new bosses out there there's a lot of god bosses out, if anyone hasn't noticed. It's useful, but it won't be useful all the time. That's the problem. But the real kicker is the skill. And I know 99% of you aren't going to care about this too much. I care about it because I have a lot of UR dust that I get from rankings, from doing the arena, and some of you might as well, and paid packs and all that crap. But the damage potential from this is the highest of any UR arc in the game right now. Our previous highest was essentially 10,000 for any dual wielder / single wielder. The Karma Noog arc had 20,000 for single wielders, which was essentially 10,000 per hit. Let's call it that. 10,000 per hit dual wielders, 20,000 for single wielders. This one, on the other hand, just gives flat out at level 10. I think that's halved. I think this is all 15% and 5,000 and 5,000 at level 1, but it doubles at level 10, which is a lot for. I mean, it's cost 9 UR deaths to max out, which is just a lot of resources to indulge in it. But at max, it gives you your entire party a physical attack damage 30%, which is the generic physical attack buff, as well as 10,000 cap buff for physical damage. And it also gives the unit holding this arc 10,000 against bosses, and damage taken from bosses minus 50%. So all in all, for the unit itself, not counting any other allies, that's a 20,000 cap boost for physical, aka physical damage against bosses, which a lot of situations in PvE are, and that extra 3,000 from the trait. So it's like 23,000 damage cap boost. If anyone has seen silly video I did last night of like the Ark 2's Chapter 2 boss that I did in 0 seconds. I threw this shit on Lelouch, and he had 91,000 caps.
That was dual wielding, right?
Dual wielding.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. I'm so sad I missed him.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
What? And of course I boosted the crap out of his damage in the first place in his caps, but like that alone on a dual wielder to get 23,000 cap boost. I mean, and even then, even without this, I think at level 1 you still get a total of 13,000. Like these are both 5,000 and the Arc Trade itself is 3,000. 13,000 just for using the Arc skill is so sick.
It's pretty good.
So sick. Now that is something that is, unfortunately, as we gain momentum in the game and power creep happens and we get higher and higher caps for not just dual wielders but single wielders, everyone, that will become of lesser value. But right now it's pretty high. Just as we always used to think like, oh, this 5,000 cap boost from a level 10 skill 3 Empress is incredible. Holy shit, it infects dual wielders. Now we got 23,000.
23,000.
So just to keep it in perspective a little bit. It's kind of funny. But the Ark itself, I think it's pretty solid. This is not like, I need to chase this Ark. No, URs are. If you're free to play, if you're a newer player, you do not need to chase this Ark. And then meanwhile, just keep in mind, you're not going to be able to level 10 this Ark skill anytime soon. UR dusts are still very, very rare and hard to come by. You need to be ranking, playing arena, like ranking time trials, etc. Crimson ore, but those should probably be used on Crimson ore equips anyways. Like we essentially get 1 UR dust per anniversary, half and regular anniversary, I would say. So just keep that in mind, guys. Like don't be chasing this kind of shit. Never chase URs is the standard. If you get lucky, great. If not, don't worry about it. You might get a UR ticket in the future, and you can grab it then.
They're never essential.
No.
They're always just
they're helpful,
enhancers.
never essential. What was the next thing we had on the little flow charts, huh?
We've got moving into updates now. So with the anniversary dropping, of course they have to do their exchange tickets, which are always a hit. So I think since last week they released the UR Arc exchange ticket, we start there.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So in your trading space, and you should have gotten actually your events first. This anniversary festival, you'll have two. So far, we have 2 quests. One to get a UR trade ticket, one to get a unit trader ticket, and we're going to talk about those. The next 2 weeks that we have coming up are going to be credential equips, or crimson ore equips, as we like to call them, and you'll have getting 2 tickets of those. So you get credential equips for units that you like, or units that you want to be part of the meta, etc., that have great effect to them. Those are going to be talked about in the community. Don't worry about those for now. But right now, let's talk about these 2 tickets. Let me go to the trading space and we can talk about exactly what's there. The UR Arc trading space. What's there is every UR Arc up to Lilyhammer, which was the same update as the 4.5 anniversary, which is the same update as Shift to Zekis. So any UR Arc up that chronologically before that is added into this. And there are some amazing picks here. Amazing freaking URs. Now, unfortunately, because this is what? Not 8 days after the first update where this went live, most of you have probably used your UR ticket. So we're going to talk about this. And unfortunately, I hope none of you have FOMO from this or regrets. But I'm going to tell you the top picks. And I think the information has been very well voiced over which ones should be your top picks for newer players, for veterans, etc. So keep in mind that all UR arcs are useful, but there are some that have game-changing effects to think about when building an account. Okay? There are 3 arcs in question that have the most game-changing effects for pretty much any account. Number 1, I'm going to mention it, and this is probably out of order than what I normally would do, but for newer players, Mecha God Metatron. Why, Tweacz? Why the hell are we mentioning this? Well, here's the thing. If you've been playing it for the game for any long, and I think most veterans would agree that things like Winner's Apple Pie, things like Honey Elixir, spells that charge your entire skill count or skill stocks with one little flip of the button, are extremely powerful. Now, we already kind of talked about the Goddess Kiss aspect of things and being able to get your Goddess Kiss, your MP back to use Oversoul again and again. But that same thing happens with SCT charging spells. Full charge is something like that. For spending 200 MP, which is fully exhaust your MP, I think it's like 1199 MP, the max usage. It will exhaust your MP and will fully stock all your skills, which sounds amazing. I know it sounds amazing, guys. I really do. The unfortunate part of this is that it is not like Wind Rays Apple Pie and Honey Elixir, where it can be casted onto other units, but it is self-charge only. Units that have something like this already have the either full restores, like the Alices of the world, and of course those cannot be taught, right? Those are specific to that type of unit. We also have Chef Zykes, who has something like this. I think it's like playtime's over. It's a one-use thing. Would increase his stocks and max charges his skills. I get that. But this as a learnable spell, you can put this on any unit you want. Add a Goddess Kiss. You can use it as many times as you want on the same unit. You use it, you get full skill stocks, you spam skills, you use all your skill stocks, your regular attack till you get some more MP back, you use it again. This is contrary to how most of the game is played without SCT boosting spells.
It's an entirely different experience.
It is quite literally game changing.
This alone, I mean, it's kind of contrary to what we said in this specific example, but this is something worth chasing when you don't have it.
Yes. And you would never...
It just happens to be on a URR.
It does. And this is like a very... getting this as a new player, coming from a veteran who has, we've had, yes, Honey Elixir come back 3 times. It's been in the game 3 times. Hasn't been back since 2021.
A while.
Wind Rays Apple Pie has been here twice. It was here last year around this time, a little bit. I think it was March last year. But anyone who started the game after March last year has not had a shot. Okay, this was on the Ryvern banner, but hasn't really had a chance to grab something this game changing. So if you do not have Wind Rays Apple Pie or Honey Elixir, which are the 2 main spells I would say it combats with, and those are superior versions, but this one is cracked out of its mind if you don't have anything like it. And I think it's a very, very important way, but important thing to understand, that in PvE type modes, SCT and skill spammers are OP. Now, of course, the detriment is that you can only cast it on yourself. It cannot be used on other units to be an SCT battery. You have to battery yourself. But if you guys saw me use it with Kyle in my video where we fought Zaylon, Goddess Kiss procs into full charges, spamming skills, Goddess Kiss procs into full charges, spamming skills. It's a much, much better way to play than just sitting there and hammering your regular attack button until you get skills. So for new players, number 1, first and foremost.
Can't disagree.
Outside of full charge, Ark's great. I would say for fire physical attackers, or for fire skill attackers, for your Claudes of the world, your Mikasas of the world, this is a very good Ark for them. But the main point is full charge. Literally OP. If you don't have the other stuff. You don't have Wind Rays Apple Pie or Honey Elixir, which many, many players do not. Not even close. And if you picked something else this time, that's totally fine. The UR Ark ticket has been out for 8 days. You probably used it already. If you haven't, get this if you're new. But I'm assuming you guys probably have. Just look out in the future if this does ever come back around. If we get UR Ark tickets again, like I think we got one for the 4.5 anniversary. Keep it in mind. All right. This second Ark, and that was a long going over the first Ark, but I think it's very, very important for new players to have knowledge of. The second Ark is probably overall the consensus number 1 Ark in the game. Theopolis. And even more so now. This Ark is essentially broken. The first 15 seconds of battle, apply defense minus 50% debuff to all enemies. If you've been playing this game at all, you know how strong debuffs are for damage boosting. I mean, for PvP modes, this is for GVG modes, being able to kill units easier, kill enemies easier by that huge 50% cut is very useful. Not only that, I'm going to go over this last part of its trait. As an equipable Ark, increase unit soul drop rate in quest by 2 times. That means it essentially doubles your drop rate of unit souls. For most parts of the game, this is pretty useless, especially as an equipped Ark in like Ark in PvP or GVG. Pretty useless. But in things like auto run, where a lot of us do run Arks to try to get max unit soul drops, to farm constantly, to passively get souls to build units awakens, their SC, their wards. This doubles that drop rate. And I think we'll go over a little section about auto running itself, but now with the big change of actually not costing any souls, you can very, very viably run this with a solo unit in hard quests, in God quests if you feel, but mostly hard quests. Hard one wave stages turns that 5% drop rate of unit souls into a 10%, and that just saves us. Just you get so many unit souls if you just auto run, leave your shit running.
It's unfortunate, but because people have device, restrictions and what have you. But auto running is, I'd say, the other game changer to being able to progress your account without spending money.
Yes. Quality of life for this, running this in auto run is insane, in my personal opinion. I've been dude, for how many years have I've been forced to use, not forced to use, but I chose to use one friend support, refreshing friends, and using one with Theo just so I could get the double rate drops. And now with the changes of no Arks using no Arks using red or blue souls to run them in quests, you can use this on a solo unit yourself. It's amazing.
I know. We're getting a little ahead of ourselves with that.
I am.
Okay.
But that stuff is not the only reason why this Ark's OP. You ready for the rest?
Say it, baby.
Giga Week. This is the only place in the game we can find Giga Week. Giga Week itself is one of the main ways to drop any resistance to make your highly resisted allies do a sufficient amount of damage.
That's teachable.
Teachable. You can teach this to anybody.
Because a lot of casters have been coming with it recently.
They have been, and I feel like that's appreciative. But being able to learn and teach this to all of your units, to not have to worry about who has it or who doesn't,
always
is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Newell and Mouth being here is also very, I mean, it's on other Arks, yes, but it's nice quality of life. This is dropping your status ailment resistance for all enemies. So attribute resistance, status ailment resistance. I don't find Thaumaturge Ring to be that important. I don't find Abyssgate or physical damage healing or slow to be that important. The Ark skill, which we'll go over the Ark Leader word in a bit. The Ark skill is one of a kind. If you wanted to max this out, you could, but just the fact of attacking with the lowest attribute resistance, sure, I get it. At level 1, it decreases the all enemy attribute resistance minus 25, which is an instant weak, guaranteed to apply. At level 10, it's a minus 50 weak, which is huge. It also centers all flinchable enemies. Now, this doesn't come into play a lot, but in certain modes, especially like speed running, like I do in a lot of my videos, this level 10 Ark skill it enables quite a bit. Like you can imagine if your ally is fighting something with 100 res, or even 0 res, dropping it by 50 is going to boost that damage by a lot. It's ipso facto very big damage boost for a lot of allies, and that defense and mind debuff at the first 15 seconds makes for some pretty sick damage. And it centers. It centers as in it groups flinchable enemies. Very, very cool. Now the last bit of why this Ark is awesome is because of the Ark Ether 100% reward. This wand, well, it may not seem that crazy in itself. It can be Godforged into one of the most sickest wands in the entire game. And I'm going to show you that right now. The Archon Wand Granazon, which I have right here. That's a really good wand. 8-star, 388 intelligence, 35% for all magic attack damage. This is for any magic attacks. Support magic consumed minus 2 MP. Don't really care about that, but it's literally the massive int and the massive magic attack damage, and it's applicable to any magic caster. Any attack magic caster. So yes, easily the best one in the game, easily the best. You know, I speak highly of equips and arcs and stuff that can be used on many, many units. That is just, you know, the Trichulas, the Ark Granazons, the Pure Blade Muramasas, those of the world can be added and switched to many, many units and still be used to their max effect. Ark Granazon is one of those guys. So it's just an account builder. You're most likely in a lot of scenarios you're only going to be using one attack mage in the first place. So this is going to be just a constant used item. Little trading space, and that's Theo. Theo's amazing. I think for current events, I think the ability to get double soul drops on, you know, forever for your auto running is is insane.
Wild.
It really is. Really is. So we went through Metatron. We went through Theopolis. The third arc has got to be the Great War Ruin. Now, why? Why do you say this, Tweacz? Well, it has this special thing called filling special gauges. And in some scenarios, in very other niche scenarios, it's very, very powerful to have specials be able to use it ×0. And at level 10, you can fill all ally special gauges. For the support specials, for the attack specials, for any special you would want to use, any setups you would want to use, this enables that. Now, even outside of that, it still has some good learnables. I think Fire Attack Raise 2 and Combo Master are some of the... I use those quite a bit on my fire users, and Combo Master especially on a lot of units because I'm usually getting that combo above 50. It's just generally not that hard to do. But this in itself is used in PvE scenarios and very niche scenarios, and especially in the last time trial, if you guys saw, it was a huge factor. One other aspect of this that is notable is that it does give that in quest the item drop rate from enemies ×1.5. This is essentially 50% boost. A lot of enemies in story have a between 20 to 35% drop rate, so that boosts it all the way up to 30 to 52% drop rate for normal chests, which can add up over a long period of time, but is not like gonna make an insane difference for your drops. Does it help? Yes. Is it insane? No. For places that can't be stolen from with high drop rate potential, like the round 2s of the world, the single stage round 2s, or you can farm red, blue, and green clusters, this does have a nice effect for it. Similar to how Mern is used there, similar to how Carol can be used there, but this is the highest. 50% drop rate boost for normal chests is pretty good. Is it necessary? Is it as good of as an account builder as Theopolis on auto runs? No, but it is definitely something. So it's of note. Not only does it have a very niche use, it also has an auto running use. It's a good arc. Arc of the Reward, also the Ring of Wisdom, is a free revive accessory, and these are very hard to come by in my opinion. It is a buff that it applies, but it is good. More revive accessories means more ways to waste time in GVG, more ways to get your unit back in PvP, and especially in PvE, if you could get boss nuked, it's a nice free revive. It revives you to 100%. It's good. I'd say if I'm expecting my unit to die, this is one of the first things that I would throw on them. Arc itself, great. Metatron, Theopolis, and this are the three best units, three best UARCs in the lineup, 100%. But there are also, if you guys have those three, there are also other options. Some of the better arcs in here, I would say Three Emperors. Three Emperors is one of them. Taking everything outside of this, I don't really care much about any of the learnables. I don't really care about the Arc Trader skill. I really don't. The Ark Ether Reward is one of the, and like I talked about with Archon Granazon, Trishula, Pure Blade Muramasa, one of the most switchable things and, you know, very, very powerful things to use on your units. Swap in and out of units is going to be this accessory, dude. The 3 Jewel Amulet.
It's ridiculous.
It has 100 strength, 100 intelligence. It has 2 fat ass 15% multipliers that you get 15% for hitting attribute weak and 15% for doing the right anti-type damage, which multiplicative 15 times, 1.15 times 1.15 is a big boost.
Yeah, it's nice. That was my pick. 3 imps.
I don't blame you. Dude, this accessory right here is one of my most used accessories. If I ever want to be like, hey, I'm planning on making this battle. I'm planning on fighting this battle, but I'm going to make it sure I fight weak damage, and I'm making sure I fight very anti-type damage. Well, just use this. It is a massive boost of damage.
What's the one thing everyone wants to do in this game, Tweacz?
Cap damage. Big damage. Sorry.
That's correct.
Was that wrong?
No.
Okay.
Damage caps. How do you hit
big
damage
damage.
caps?
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah.
That's part of it. That's not all of it, but I'm being...
I literally switch this around. Like, every single physical
dramatic.
DPS, and especially for fights, I'm trying to make them attribute weak already. I'm trying to use the right anti-type damage, and this just loads right into that.
Yeah.
That's how you should be building. So this accessory right here is probably the best accessory in the game for damage potential.
I mean, the reality of this game, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, right? Everyone loves a one-size, shoe fits all, but the further you get into this game, this is mainly for new players, the more the game becomes how you can tailor each build, each arc you're using for the specific fights that you're getting into. And so stuff like this, that is extremely OP when you can tailor a fight to the type of enemy you're fighting, to the weaknesses that they have. That's what makes this so good. So,
I mean, just in general, many of the good equips have like a 10% boost or 15% boost. We're talking about on this one accessory, 15% boosts, plus a hell of a lot of stats. Whew. Whew. Favorite. I don't care about the rest of the arc. It's literally just this accessory is so sick. Other notable ones on here. Prefects of God is a very, very, very top tier PvP and GVG arc with the huge boost of damage, more boosting of stats, and the free revive. Now, yes, it does have Sky High 2, which is a very good skill. Fire Mega Drive, which isn't that useful there in PvP type content, but Sky High 2 is great. Arc skill, nothing crazy in my opinion. The Arc Ether Ward, again, I don't think I really ever use this, to be fair. You could probably do that if you're fighting, or if you need to. I mean, it just goes off of any BUS. It is pretty strong in itself, but I prefer the Kagetsuchi Sword, but it is pretty good if you're doing debuffs. As an equipped arc, top tier PvP GVG top arc. 100%. Without question. Very, very good. And Holy War. Holy War is another pick of mine. It is probably the strongest anti-PvE nuke, or boss nuke, arc in the game for survivability. It gives an instant... from 15 seconds from when an enemy activates a special, give all allies a damage taken minus 50% buff. So all damage. 50% less incoming. So if that box activates that friggin' nuke, you get 50% less damage take, which is super, super helpful for a lot of survivability, as well as the arc skill if you use that beforehand. I think this is halved at level 1, but at level 10, it does give HP cap plus 10,000. It gives an extra damage from bosses cut debuff. If you already know that nuke is incoming, you can use it ahead of time. Very, very, very good PvE defensive utility arc. Not only that, it gives... You can throw this on a support. You give damage cap. You get damage cap for the whole party. Skill damage cap for the whole party. You get also a 1250 damage cap buff for the rest of the party if the special happens. And its learnables are pretty good, and its AR is pretty good. So this includes Godbuster, which is sometimes useful for PvE. Giant Killing 2, again, useful for PvE. And the Arc Ether reward is probably one of the best in the game. Reason being, yes, okay, damage from bosses, we don't really worry about that. There are at least 2 living allies, damage from enemies minus 10%, which is a nice mitigation. That's all damage from enemies, magic, physical, whatever. But it is one of 2 accessories in the game that gives +1 resist to all ailments.
That's just disgusting. Just to add to what you're already saying, I think something that's very important to always point out for those who are newer to the game, the wording, well, okay, yes, the ailments, but more so when you're talking about damage mitigation, that is something that becomes more and more valuable as you progress. Right. And the wording you have to pay attention to. That second sentence is universal damage, right? If it says physical damage, that is one of 3 or 4 different types of damage. If it says magic damage, right? If it says special damage, those are all different categories. If it just says flat damage, That's everything. Super important to see. And then couple that with what Tweacz is pointing out.
Dude, the resistances. I mean, we've shot out the green multiplayer ring for forever, but it doesn't have all this extra stuff. It doesn't have the HP, doesn't have the stats, doesn't have the mitigation. It's just that thing juiced up, which is really cool. For anyone who knows, using ailments and ailment application and things like PvP GVG can literally screw your entire team if you're not well protected. Like the units like these, the units like Archbeing melees can literally murk you if you're not prepared. So this accessory right here is very, very good. And not only the equipable trait of the Ark, fantastic for PvE nukes. I'm just going to shout this out, Melee Mare, and I think this is the one reason why it is a good Ark. It's a good accessory. The main reason I would point this out is because High Drain. High Drain is one of the debuffs are so important in this game, and is the only place you can get High Drain. Now, there are units that come out, and like we've talked about with many units, they can have things like Giga High Drain innately, which is cool. But being able to teach anyone High Drain to apply a minus 35% defense debuff, which is the highest current debuff we can apply and learnable to apply to enemies, very powerful. So just keep that in mind. That is a very good Ark. Mind you, the Ark itself is very strong. I mean, damage potential after 100 hits or more. You got damage caps for status ailments. We got the Dark Mirror Ring, which is a very good damage output against enemies with status ailments. Great stats. Physical damage taken minus 10%, 10 light res. But mainly this High Drain. Being able to learn things and to be basically future-proof and be able to teach shit to any new unit that comes out, and to rework your team to synergize and to be able to use this. Like, you don't have to be forced to use a unit that has Giga High Drain now, if that makes sense. You don't have to feel forced to use a unit that has the ability to apply drain buffs. You can teach this to any unit that comes out. Same thing as Giga Weak, same thing as a Nola Mouth. You have the ability to use those buffs or those debuffs in the game, and debuffs in this game are super important. Council of 10. I think it's the last one I want to mention.
Finally,
I think there's probably a couple more I probably should mention, but this is the last one.
It's been hurting my feelings how long it's taken to get to this Ark.
Well, here's the thing.
I know.
With the introduction to full charge, I think this drops a little bit, right?
It does.
It's still an OPS Ark, and number one, at very quote unquote at Ark skill 9 and above. Keep that in mind.
Yep.
It's very good. At base, it refills 40% of your SCT at base at level 1, but at level 9, it becomes to fills the unit's entire stocks 100%, time stop, time 0. Pretty nuts. It also raises your skill stock count. So once you do use the Ark skill, it raises your max skill stock of all your skills +1 and fills them.
This is
at Ark skill level 9.
As the fun factor.
Yes. If you guys are, that's the thing. People who watch this podcast don't usually have access to a lot of UARK dust. UR dust, right? So it's good to notice the things that are going to alter the way you play, like the game-changing type stuff. Full charge, game-changing. Theopolis Ark skill, I probably would say less game-changing, but still very good. Great War Ruin Ark skill, game-changing. This one, also game-changing.
I would agree. This is the Ark skill I maxed to level 10 first, and I think it's what solidified me to be an LC player for a good amount of time to come.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I think this level 10 skill, having that when multiplayer recently came out and became a big spotlight of the game, like defined my era for a while.
Sure.
For sure.
Yep, it's very good, and especially if you do get to level 10, it gives 1 SCT stock to all skills of all other players, which is like actually helpful.
Yep.
I find this Ark to be very fun, and especially as a PvE enthusiast, I have a lot of fun with it. I've had a lot of fun with it. I mean, even the last time trial, the Attack on Titan one, I use this in 2 out of the 3 floors. Even though it was time stop, it was just so useful. Yeah, Very, very good. I mean, the Ark Ether reward. I can't wait for this to get to Forge if it ever does. It should.
Oh man. I didn't even think about that.
But throwing this on a support unit just to give your entire party 40 seconds of a physical and magical attack generic buff boost. Yeah. Generic boost buff. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, nothing too crazy there on the rest of the Ark. I think that's going of the Ark tickets. I think number one is Metatron if you're new. Without a doubt, full charge is OP. Theopolis is the next number one, I would say, and Great War is behind them. And of course, if you have Winter's Apple Pie or Handy Elixir, Metatron falls a little bit further down the list. But like, your Ark tickets are so powerful, and I know this again. I say this again. It's been out for 8 days. You guys have probably already picked shit, but just keep this information in mind for the next one. Now there will be more UARCs on the table, but the old UARCs still don't become less OP just because we get more arcs on the within the ticket lineup. They're still very useful.
Yeah.
Are we on to the next thing?
I was gonna say it's hard. It's easy to just start going down the rabbit holes, but yes.
I love rabbit holes.
I know.
Wait.
I know.
Going down them. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Tweacz.
Anywho.
You didn't have to take it there. Oh my God.
We want to talk about units?
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's pivot.
So, I posted the information on Discord. I posted it on just mostly Discord, my own Discord, the Sassy Discord. I posted on the main Nelson Discord. If you haven't seen that information about what to pick and whatnot, I'm quickly going to go over this. SM Theria for new players. If you don't have her, if you haven't gotten her off the 72-hour banner, which is a 1% rate up, pretty sick. She's still a 3-year-old unit, and she's still just as good as ever. She is so good. So good. Just as your generic support, that applying barriers after heals and getting super armor, super sick, great. Give her debuffs, give her heals, give her team buffs. She's just an all-rounder, and she's pretty much useful in every mode. She has only been power crept one time, and that was with this fall with Reyna, who was a support unit that came with the Star Ocean Club. For the last 3 years, she's been uncontested in her role, in my opinion, because she is so friggin' unique. The applying barriers and getting super armor for your entire party after healing, which you can force, is hilarious. And she only becomes more broken with more healing spells. Like I know a lot of us veterans have access to it, but a lot of new players will not. The things like Last Record and Keen Eye, those healing spells that give SCT and give barriers, and you can use Spirit Breath and give extra SCT. Like, it's her as a unit is a big part of why a lot of people succeed in endgame content. So as a new player, I think she would have to be a number one focus, either to get on the 72-hour banner after when people reroll, or to get her through this. Now, keep that in mind. She is support. She's not going to do your damage, so likely you'll want a physical DPS in general. But the next one that I want to mention is Zekka's Forgate. Zekka's Forgate is easily the hard. And are you using him now?
I'm using him now. You can see him on the screen. And I was going to say, because I figured that's where you were going, please answer Leo's dilemma in chat right now.
Leo's dilemma. I'm in dilemma between Zekka's Forgate or DB Thouser. Absolutely zero question. Zekka's Forgate. DB Thouser has got nothing on him. Zekka's Forgate is the hardest hitting mage we have in the game right now, and I say that with knowing full well that Freya exists. In PvE type modes and even in PvP and GVG, he is a force to be reckoned with. He has very good multipliers on his spell. He has a unique spell called Xenocryon. It hits hella hard and fast. Yes, he's an ultimate caster. Yes, he has a little bit slower casting time, but goddamn does he hit hard. He also has utility. He has a great utility in a leadership charisma, the ice leadership charisma, so any ice units do get a skill and special boost. Intelligence boosts. He also has instant battle start Giga Week, and he has the ability to proc his Soul Liberate spell that gives him half of his total MP pullback.
And
very strong unit, easily one of the strongest in the game. He's absolutely crazy in PvE, GVG, PvP,
everything.
And And I didn't mention the fact that he enables other mages.
Thank you.
Like, bro, his Ether Resonance, I think it's called, his bun passive. He essentially, when another mage in the party uses a non-stacking magic, he will spend whatever MP they had to spend on it, right? But it increases their damage 20% and increases their cap by 30,000.
30K.
Which at this point in the game, a friggin' Lennius getting juiced up by Zekis is an extra 30k cap on his already insane magic damage, and they stack.
Feels so good.
If you got one Lennius and three Zekis 4-gate in the party in multiplayer, that Lennius gets a non-stacking magic spell off, that shit hits for 1 billion damage. Like, I'm exaggerating, but like, you can one tap the Green Gate boss.
Feels like it should be a bug, but it's not.
Yeah, it's literally purposeful. It's so sick. And again, like Gavin mentions, him and Emtheria are both available on the 72-hour lineup, 72-hour banner lineup, the Start Dash banner, which is insane to me.
Yeah.
Okay, so for new players that you guys won't know this, but for a very long time, Adis, whenever they revamp the 72-hour Start Dash banner, it's always been, you know,
like more modern.
That unit's time, right? They don't really pick based on, hey, this is going to be an effective unit for newer players. They've just been, here's some new, some DOHs that have been out for a while. We should probably put them on there now. No. But the fact that they put not only Zekis 4-gate, but a 3-year-old unit in Spearmaid and Theory on there, those two together, while you should also be rolling for a physical DPS, like let's say Kyle or Archbeam Melee, is just so disgusting. And a great decision by them. So, Zekis 4-gate, sick. Spearmaid in Theory is amazing. The next two things that I'm going to mention right here, I think we talked about Lennius just a tiny bit there, so I'm going to mention him first, but this is by no means no ordering anymore. Lennius, double hitting mage. He's not a dual wielder. He's a single wielder, but his fire, ice, lightning, and earth spells all hit double hits, like essentially a dual wielder for physical DPS. And being paired up with Zekis gets stupid freaking damage. He's very, very fun to use, even without Zekis, but he gets so much stronger with Zekis. The other one I want to mention is Prefective God Mia, which I am scrolling past. Hold on, it's up here.
That's who I picked up.
Prefective God Mia, I think I mentioned before with the single wield hitters, we talked about the little PvP where Kyle doesn't perform. She's still sick. She is immune to magic flinch, all magic, and is a single wielder and has crazy innate multipliers, and she hits like a friggin' truck. So for PvP modes, for specifically manualing PvP and climbing the ladder, she is instrumental for a lot of teams. And even being, top 10, top 20 players, generally most days, a lot of my defense losses are to Mia. Just cracking me in the face with just hard-hitting skills. Now, keep in mind that PvE and PvP are two very different modes. So she's not very prominent in PvE. Her skills aren't that fast, her DPS is not that high, but where she lacks for that, she makes up for potency in PvP because she just smashes people in the face. A lot of the meta right now is magic casters, is, retaliatory counter damage. She can bypass and kill counter units, she can bypass all magic flinching and heavily mitigate it. So if you care about PvP at all and you have all those units I previously suggested, Prefective God Mia is amazing. Ascended Zykes is an option. He's a very, very friendly new player unit, and being able to steal is always good for multiplayer runs, etc. farming. There's Shift Val in here is also a fantastic unit to have for damage. Like at this point, if you don't have any of those and you're questioning who to get, it more becomes an account specific talk, right? A lot of this advice and a lot of this, you can just basically ignore it if you feel like it, but a lot of the advice comes from a endgame perspective and an account specifics perspective. Who's going to bring the most value to your account specifically? Well, like if I had Reyna right now and I was a relatively new player and haven't cared much about my account, I would tell you not to get Spearmaid there because you don't need her. Reyna is perfectly sufficient and even better. But I hope you guys use this advice as like general advice. You don't have to use it by law. It's not like the gospel. Just trying to give you guys an idea of who's good and who's not. And this one's a little bit more relevant because we've only been live on this ticket for a day. A lot of people have asked.
I did have something to bring up since
What's up?
You brought up the name. I'm trying to look for the comment. Someone asked who is Knight of the Pale Flame. Kyle is in our chat. Tweacz.
Knight of the Pale. Wait, what? Who?
Shift Kyle is in our chat. He just subscribed recently. Anyway.
Oh, that's hilarious.
He asked who the strongest non-DOH character is.
Non-DOH?
Mm-hmm. Outside of limited.
So non-limited. Just shift out.
That's what I wanted to
as an attacker.
Yep.
I mean, we have some pretty good tanks. I mean, Gorm. But as a permanent gacha unit, the strongest in there right now is Emerald Slinger Fowl. That's my babe, by the way. Okay, so I'm happy you brought her up. That's Bae.
Mm-hmm.
And she has succeeded in a lot of ranking events for me, as well as just PvE content in general. She just does a shit ton of damage. And when you can fuel her with an SCT battery and get all our skill stocks and be able to spam her S3, yeah, she feels great.
When you're talking DPS, Val is in the discussion.
Yeah, there's 3 for PvE. There's 3 very clear top DPS in the game.
That's
one of them
my
is Shift Fowl,
by the way.
Huh?
Never mind. Keep going. Sorry.
Oh, so top 3 DPS in the game. Number 1. All right. So I grouped them as a 3. I don't say number 1 just because they can be boosted differently, enabled differently. Shift Fowl is up there. 2P is up there, which is hilarious because she's good at friggin' every mode. Shift Fowl, 2P, and then Claude. Keep in mind, I did not mention a single DOH unit. That's a permanent unit and 2 collab units, which is hilarious.
That's great. So that's who my best DPS would be. I forgot. I said Bradley.
Oh, for the fight? Yeah.
But
I wouldn't use her anyways there.
She wouldn't work. Yeah.
No, she doesn't work that well. But those 3. So yes, if you have an option and you have all those other units, you want to pick Shift Fowl, sure. But she is very, very strong. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Those are the big topics. We got that.
Yes.
So now we can either talk about events or go into updates to the game.
Why don't we talk about updates then?
You want to do updates? Keep it.
I want to do updates, and the good thing is we have this up. I can bring up the news.
And that's not a bad idea since you kind of already started talking about it when Theo came into the picture.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about these real quick. Changes to Ark specifications. This is a huge update to the game, by the way. I know newer players won't understand how crazy this is because you only know one way of thinking because you just started the game and this is just going to be how it is. But for the first 5 years of the game, we have been having to use red and blue souls for equipping arcs and skill in quests. 5 freaking years. Okay. Now, changed arcs so the skills can be learned even at level 1, and changed arcs so that they no longer consume souls on quests and tours. So you can use a beginner guide, all right? We always used to be telling people like, hey, save your souls by not using arcs in story. Well, that goes right out the window because you can use your most powerful arcs at any point in the game, which is how it should be, in my opinion. That brings enjoyment in the game, that encourages synergy, that encourages testing out, leveling up your arcs and testing things out. It brings more fun when you're not limited by your soul usage, by your soul banks, by collecting souls and then having to use them for arcs, for skills, or for using them in quests. Because there's a lot of other things you can be doing with souls. Leveling up arcs, doing Godforge, alchemy, that kind of stuff, very useful. And being able to not have to use arcs, being able to not have to spend souls to use arcs and quests changes the game by so much. We did talk about that with Theo, and I just want to bring, for an example, auto running. Let's talk about it. Running one wave stages, okay? Why is auto running important? Well, you have a video about this. The general community can answer questions about this, but auto running is essentially whenever you go to a stage and you choose to auto run, it will complete the quest over and over and over. As long as you can complete it, of course, as long as you don't lose. But what is the benefit of doing this? Well, the benefit by running a hard quest is getting, there's a 5% unit soul drop rate. God quest is 7, but it's awful to run. Hard quest, 5% unit souls. You also get a chance at any of these materials. So you want to pick usually one-way stages, or usually stages that give you good drops and a high chance of getting them. For unit soul grinding specifically, I have it set up where I would run 1 unit. Guess what? You're running Theo on there. You know how I said hard stages have a 5% unit soul drop rate? Well, now for every stage, I get a 10% unit soul drop rate. So for boosting up my units Awaken, which I need to spend souls for, all these Awaken souls, you can boost their unit souls to increase their SC. Just by putting it on auto run and letting it run by itself and letting them complete the quest and doing it, you know, you should put skill charges on units. You should let them do skills and make them clear faster. This is the way to do it. And now with the changes to arcs and not costing any souls, I can run this infinitely. Before, I would have to spend, what was it, 250 some or 500 red souls every quest in order to run this, but now it's completely.
That's insane to me. It's insane. With how we've been accustomed to playing this game for, like you said, the last 5 years. And it's been, like, this is how it always should have been.
Yep.
Because of how much of a spotlight arcs have on them, you know? People are always asking, which arcs do I use? Which arcs do I use? Which arcs do I use? And my answer always was, don't use arcs. Like, it's hurting your account for the long term. But now
you can just use whatever the hell you want. And guess what? You are Arc tickets. If you guys did pick Theo, congratulations. You now have twice the speed of everyone else. Well, not people without it. When you equip the Obelisk and run a solo unit to grind their souls out. Yeah. Now I know we already have it in a lot of events, especially this event. You know, you use 50 tickets, grab 50 unit souls. You have those types of things, but just to passively gain stuff is amazing. Along with this, you can have Great War Ruin. We talked about the 50% increase of item drop rates. You can now have the option to run SET arcs, the Abandoned City of the Sea. If you don't have a lot of skill charge stuff on your account, skill charges and stuff, you can run this and have units get skills off the rip, and have it not cost anything. Like, I would never have ran this in a general sense if it costed souls, but now it doesn't cost anything. I can give her more SP battle start. Now running this as a whole party is probably not that useful. I mean, this you're really not going to want to. You don't have to grind with it, but this is a very optimal setup if you need skill charges, if you need item drops, if you need unit soul drop rates. Like, if I was to just was building 3 units at the same time, let's say I want to build these 3 units. Sure, the drop rate is essentially 3.3% for each. But if I was running solo, without this arc, without Theopolis, it would be 5% anyways. So you're building 3 units at the same time optimally, as well as getting good drops, as well as using SCT stuff. Like, it's very, very nice. I don't know. Super sick. I'm super happy about it. The changes to arcs not cost anything. And then we get into the costs, or the learning skills aspect. The fact that you do not have to, like, I know I'm not going to see it right now, but just teaching any of these skills, you don't have to level up the arc anymore to learn the final,
all of them,
the final skills. Like, it can be level 1.
Yep. And
you can learn fire attack race too.
I forgot about that. That's crazy. It's these updates are just enhancing the speed of progression on everyone's account.
I mean, quite literally, the only reason you would be even leveling up arcs anymore is to use their high level effects.
Yep.
So there are many, many arcs in the game that are pretty useless when equipped, in my opinion. Many, many SSRs, even LRs, even URs probably don't need to be leveled up. Just learn their skills and you can leave them at level 1 forever. Now, sure, in the case of, hey, I might want to use this one day, you might want to level them up, but, like, genuinely, you don't have to. Like, if I could revert the souls on, like, I don't know, Symbol of Annihilation, I'm probably never going to use. out of the level 10 Ark or level 15 Ark, I could have just left this level 1 and not cared about it for forever. If you want to min-max your leveling your equipable arcs that are going to make a difference in your game in your gameplay, you don't have to waste time on the other ones learning in order to learn their skills, which was the main reason of why you would level these up in the first place, was to be able to teach their high level skills. Like this one, the final one is usually only teachable at level 10. So you'd have to spend all those red or blue souls in order to get it there and then teach it. But now you don't have to.
Yeah, save your souls for God Forging.
Super nice. Super nice.
And before we move on, shout out to a special guest in the chat who I just noticed.
Oh, I just saw him too. Hello, Crypty.
Mr. Crypt. Man. That would have been a very nice reunion. Well, if you have a break, I can work with permissions in Discord, but you know, just hit me up.
James has been around the Discord recently too, so it's been a nice little
been
funny. I think Crypty showed up in my watch party. I'm pretty sure it was. We went over Kyle. Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's dope.
So he was trying to hide. He kept deleting his messages and stuff. It was pretty funny. Calling him out here, but happy to see you, Crypty. Happy to see you, Demos. You guys are the OGs.
Wait, Demos is here?
No, Demos ain't here right now.
Oh,
but he's been in the Discord recently. Yeah. It's been really funny to see him interact with people. You know, Panda's always wild.
Oh, Panda. No kidding.
So, updates. That's most of the updates, right? I mean, to the game itself. The Ark changes are huge.
Unlock all.
Unlock all feature, but we also need to talk about the GACHA, which I did also a little bit already, and I can't really show it, right?
I can.
The unlock all feature, I can go here. Hold on 1 second. I'll get it. The unlock all feature is pretty impressive that they actually finally added it. It's something quality of life that we've been asking for forever. I know it's only like up to E5 stuff, but even that is still very useful. Like the unlock all button when you're filling out unit skills. Super nice. For a lot of us who have pre-grinded the items needed to fill out these boards, it saves a couple minutes of time. It's not a huge amount, but it's just quality of life. It's great. Notification features are good. I think the next thing I wanted to talk about was the actual 72-hour banner. And I can't look at it right now because obviously my 72-hour banner ends. And we've kind of talked about it with the units that are suggested on the unit tickets. But just having this lineup as the start dash banner whenever you actually reroll or, come back to the game, being a 1% rate up for Zekis and Spear-Baited Area on the same friggin' banner with by the way, a shit ton of URs on the banner.
Yeah.
Because they're the same rate as off-banner SSRs. I saw a guy yesterday who had 6 URs just from rolling on the 72-hour start dash banner going after Spear-Baited Area and Zekis. Again, that is like a god roll. Don't expect that. But the fact that they are the same rates as off-banner SSRs there is crazy.
Yeah.
72-hour start dash banner is easily one of the most consistent pullable banners when you do first start. Right now. Until this changes. I don't know when the lineup's going to change. I hope it doesn't change. I hope if they ever introduce a new lineup, they keep friggin' Spear-Baited Area on. Unless she gets PowerCrush, which I doubt. But keep Spear-Baited Area on there and give like a good physical DPS and a good mage option there. That's how they should do those banners, in my opinion.
Literally how to start the game on a good foot. And Megius, he still gets the job done. Daddy still, he brought the milk.
Oh, Megius? Yeah, he's still fine. He's just not like, if you have any physical DPS in the last year, you're probably fine. But mages in sports are very, very hard to come by, especially the good ones.
For sure.
Oh, man.
Cool.
Good stuff. So, event time?
That's what I have next.
No worries. Let's do events. So, going over the anniversary match, I think this is very, very straightforward. You do the bonus challenge. You fight these bosses every day. You fight them enough times to get your honor points up, so you get the max rewards, and then you stop using your orbs. You really don't have to do that. Clear out the trading space, get anything you want. But I think the main purpose of this event right here is for the drill house. This is an account builder. You should be getting cadet tickets from your clears of the event itself to use in the special soul accumulation. You get 20 mother souls and 50 unit souls per quest, which you would run this with a soul unit like this. Ready, watch. I would run this with a soul unit, and so I can guarantee myself 50 unit souls for this unit. It is a random drop. If I had 3, it could be any of these 3 get 50 souls. But if I only bring 1 unit, it's guaranteed to be that unit.
Question.
Or, yes, go ahead.
Finish your thought.
Okay, so or you could spend it on XP fields, which is very, very good. I would say this is very high profile or high use if you want to build up your accounts to get to level 100s, get to level 110s, 120s, especially the EXP boostings. Special AP field for 10 tickets is amazing if you want to teach a lot of units skills. And this has a high multiplier. I think it's like a 40x multiplier. So very, very easy to teach skills. Festival Gold Rush Foot, as you see, I haven't done it a single time, but that's because I'm maxed out on gold. If you wanted to do this, you absolutely could. But reason being, cadet tickets. Cadet tickets. Those are the juice of this event. Where the hell do you get those? Well, there's an answer. You can get them from running these quests, sure. I think you get 30 for the bonus challenge every day. You get 4, 1 per orb you use on these quests that you'll have to do anyways. But the real kicker here is that when you do complete those quests, there are bonus quests that pop up. And guess who likes doing bonus quests? Everyone. You can jump into any of these lobbies and you'll get cadet tickets. A minimum 3 every run. I think it's the festival training that gives you a lot more. It can give you up to 50. I mean, you go, 10, 15, 20, up to 50. I think, don't quote me on that. I think there's maybe a 200 or 100 that I've seen. But regardless, you would do the festival training to grab cadet tickets. But any of these quests you do give you minimum 3 cadet tickets. And these are free to do. The quests are not very hard. Most people can clear them even with a very unbuilt unit. Just go in these. You don't have to wait for everyone to join. If you see a level 120 join you, you can probably just go. The multiplayer rewards aren't that good. It's just multiplayer coins. The general rewards from actually having the drops from the quest itself are good. So you don't have to wait for full parties. Just go, burn through these, join as many as you can, get the cadet tickets, bring them back into the quest, build the shit out of your units, get EXP, AP, soul accumulation. Super worth it to do. I mean, I have 1,500 cadet tickets right now, and I think I already spent probably about 4,000 just getting through, just dumping my unit souls and building out units.
That was my question. So you've accumulated. I thought you hadn't spent a single ticket.
No, I maxed out A8s for quite a few units already, like 3 units.
Clearly, I have not been utilizing the multiplayer quests
It also takes time to do that, though. If you're sitting around doing nothing, join the quests. I mean, I would personally, and I know a lot of people have been targeting just for time-wise the training ones.
Sure.
Just for more Mother Souls and more cadet tickets. But any of these are good. These are all these have a chance to drop your radiances. These have a chance to drop ultra clusters. I mean, I've gotten a ton of radiances and stuff from there. It's very, very good. These are the kinds of events where I love, because not only can I help carry new players, it gives me free shit and rare stuff too. Like radiances and ultra clusters are very annoying to get, especially radiances. So while they might not give as many cadet tickets, may not give as many Mother Souls as the training quests, what they lack for is a chance at very rare, coveted things. So do any of these, boys, and you can refresh. Like this guy, I would love to do this. It's probably full already, can't get in there, but you know what I mean? Like this guy just came in. Awesome. Join. Run the quest, join another one. Just keep doing it. This is a great time to actually actively play the game, in my opinion. And these are always happening because people are always spending their orbs on these quests and getting free. It's a guaranteed bonus quest after every clear for the 4 orb stage. Worth. Absolutely worth. Yeah, sick. Event wise, yeah, that's pretty much the accumulation of the anniversary batch. I mean, it's not much to it. You do these, you get your cadet tickets, you grind it out from the multiplayer quest, you use your cadet tickets here. It's very, very useful for building an account. So take advantage of it. Playtest quest. There are a lot of quests going on right now.
There are.
Right.
A lot of redundant ones.
Redundant. So the 5 Cal Battle Lords is probably our oldest one. That's from the 1st anniversary. 1st? 2nd? I'm not sure, honestly. This is an event that's been around for a long time. Relatively easy now. You just want to use light units. And you can use a friend support if you need to. Four Lord Strike again. This one's more annoying. It's called the Pronouncement at the End. There's definitely quite a few videos out there that tell you how to do it with a solo unit. But generally, nowadays, get a friend unit that's like a Shift Zekis or a Kyle or something that's just gonna murk this wave. These two right here do provide the two swords, the Zadosian Blade and the what's this one called? And the Zajador sword. These two get combined in alchemy for the Zajadosian blade, the light blade we talked about when we talked about Shift Kyle, the Holy Blade Zajadosian. Those are the ones that can be combined into one to make that sword. And then you got a God Forge, and then it costs a ton of materials to do, but you got to complete both of these. This one is relatively easy. The Four Lord Strike again is definitely the harder of the two, and probably I would say harder than Claimant's God Returns, but you might need a friend to carry you through this if you're new. Honestly, Shift Zekis, a pretty well-built Shift Zekis, can nuke it in like 2 spells. So have fun with that. It's actually great. It feels so good to just nuke that battle. It gave a lot of people trouble for a very, very long time. Now the other two event quests, multiplayer. The Calamitous God Return is the one we had from last anniversary, the 4th anniversary. It is a battle against the Laugzeus that you can see in Story and or Tower, but it's a little bit more juiced up. It's the same kind of battle. You just damaged him, the ads. The second wave is a battle of attrition. I think the end of the first wave, you'll have to use regular attacks and special only. Just a little strat meeting right here. Special and or regular attacks only to damage him at the very end of the first wave. And then, yeah, it's not that complicated. It's just it might take newer players to get carried by a veteran player. But with the power creep that we've had nowadays, it's not that bad for a lot of us. I mean, I just rolled in here first time. I mean, my account's pretty good. So many people can carry you at this point. It's not like I'm risking it by joining a multiplayer for this. Last year would have been a little bit more risky, but this year, not so much. The true bitch of this anniversary is going to be the Zaylon battle, boys.
It's a tough little cookie.
This from Elsewhere Chaos Summoned, a lot of people are struggling with this shit. For good reason. I think it's actually a pretty tough battle, and it has some mechanics that are very, very important to it that might come a little bit unnoticed, right? Gazer Within the Abyss. This is the unlocked battle. For the single player version, you cannot use friend supports. You must do it with your own account, and for a lot of newer players, you're not going to be able to do this. Legitimately, I say that with full knowing that there are many new players in the anniversary event. Do not worry about this. When it comes back, either in 6 months or in a year, that's when you worry about completing that god battle. I know there's a cool sword. I know it's really cool. Anti-Soul Blade Zaylonia. I know it has 600 HP, 401 strength. It's great for single wielders. Doesn't have to be like, don't ignore the dark attribute, but it's great damage boost for single wielders and can heal. Cool. Don't worry about this if you're new. Get ready for it the next time it comes back, because we can't carry you. We can't give you a friend support to carry it for you. We cannot help. What we can do is help with the unknown battle, which is the forced multiplayer one, which gets you, okay, rare multi-coins and a cool little battle frame. Of course, there's not much locked behind it. Yeah, there's 300 gems locked behind it. There's 150 gems locked behind this one. If you can't complete this, it's not that big of a deal, legitimately. I know it's like, clout. I had this cool frame. I beat it. I've been playing for 2 days. Like, it's just not realistic. So if you find a veteran support or veteran player that wants to carry through this, sure. I would say it's probably one of the harder battles that's been released especially from a multiplayer, and it has some mechanics. So if you go to the hint section, they actually tell you to use ailments and to use specials. Your ailments decrease the damage done to you, but what it doesn't tell you is what specific ailments affect the battle most. Silence stops the magic attacks from happening, which are very, very annoying. Illness stops the bosses from healing, which are just two flat out basics of status ailments in general, but those are the most two annoying parts of the boss, is him healing and him spamming magic attacks at you. And then use specials. The boss gets low HP buffs, so once you use a special, it decreases that effectiveness of those buffs by a little bit. And you'll need to continue to use specials, not frequently, but at certain time intervals to keep decreasing that effectiveness of the boss's buffs. At low HP, this boss becomes like a little bitch and becomes very, very annoying. Hits very hard. You'll need to keep it silenced. It has a lot of mitigation buffs, and you need to push through it. Which is why I say the single player is extremely difficult for new players. Like I'm sorry, if you're less than 2 months out, there's no shot you got to complete this, in my opinion. With that said, there are some units that are direct counters to this. Arch being melee, which is a unit that we have not talked about, is very, very good here. Why? Because she's an ailment unit. She automatically applies into the mouth. She can silence with regular attacks, with silence research and such. She actually has a paid item that actually gives her the ability to give silence on her physical attacks, which is stupid, and also she was built for this battle. Kyle is also very good here because he's a light attacker, because he can hit very hard and pierce through the enemy's defenses. It's just it's not an easy battle for a lot of people, and I know a lot of veterans who have struggled with it. If you're a new player, don't worry about it.
This was my team I used.
What was your team?
It was pretty collab heavy. We got Reyna.
And that's what happens. Like
and V. So, shout out.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense to me.
Slow damage, but able to last it out.
I know we had talked about it, but did you want to run one?
I'm down.
Okay, we'll try it. I can't guarantee this is going to work because depending on if the boss bugs out, and keep in mind, this boss bugs out quite a bit. Very, very annoying, from being able to not be damaged to getting locked in a 1 damage phase to my units getting frozen. It's just a bitch and a half.
You want me to do V Megius for double ailment?
V? No, I'm going to do ailments too. Why don't you bring Reyna with class record? Okay. And do you have debuffs?
Yeah, she's built for it.
Okay. Well, I'll trust you then.
All right.
Ooh, dangerous, I know. You know what? Do I have him set up for something? Probably not. Honestly, we could probably just run it as is. His damage is going to be fine. I hope.
Well, the pressure's on, Tweacz. This is where we have to perform.
Let me just bring a homie. Hold on a second. Let me just check his shit.
Credibility.
Yeah, no.
Because we know all of the videos that you make. You know, they're kind of edited, you know.
Shut up.
I think you photoshopped the 0 second clear time on the last video, but...
Probably.
You can't
Don't put it past me, dude.
Live stuff.
Trash. That's me. Alright.
Fraud alert.
Put these on. Divinity Buster, Anti-Type. Boo. Spirit Breath. You running, or are you running Kenai?
Yeah. Yes, sir. I should be good to go.
Okay, give me 1 sec.
Let's just make sure.
Let me just get this in here. Yes.
Is it dark?
We'll run with
Is it a dark damage? Dark damager?
It's non-attribute.
It's a non-attribute. Okay, so dark shield was useless.
Oh, nope, not anyone. Hold on a second. I got a friend's lobby.
Let me see what else we got.
Okay. Do I want to do this? Do I want to actual...
I can't even remember.
Sue Rex Forged.
All right.
I'm ready, big dog.
Ready? Hold on, I'm reallocating.
What do you have 130 SC on?
Reyna.
Jesus.
I used
I think mine's at 112. I never felt like I needed it.
Listen, I got trigger happy one day.
I understand.
And
she's a great unit.
I want to slap as many spells as I want to on this girl.
Okay, so just for people watching, and I think while you're getting set up, I'll explain. Arch being melee is great for this. Reason being, she applies ailments, she applies auto annul mouth, she does good damage, she counters the boss very, very well. And that's why you used V. He's very good at ailment application. It all works for the same, very, very same reason.
If I could build
Let me just check.
Phantom Thief Robin, I would have liked to try and sweat with him.
Booda, I want you. Here's what I want you to do, though.
Tell me.
I want you to be the main debuffer. And healer.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so.
Yes. I'm staying on top
that's
of
all
debuffs.
I want you doing is maining Reyna.
Debuffs. I'm spamming Kenai.
Okay.
That's good to me. I've already done a pug group with this strat. Okay.
All right. Yeah, don't worry about everything else. Just main her. All right, we got it. Let's go. It's gonna be a long podcast, bro.
Here we go.
Oops.
Start, and then I just need to remember.
Oh, I forgot the debuffs. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
I got you.
I mean, I forgot on my charisma. It's fine. We hit hard enough, anyways.
I just gotta remember the order of my debuffs. That's the biggest thing.
Get some blind, please, or some silence, please.
I can't do anything.
Are you locked out?
Yeah. Is that a thing? Is that a bug?
Yeah, here. I'll unlock you in a second. Give me I'm gonna use a special real quick.
Yep.
Oh, you're back? No?
Nope. Not yet. Should I switch
to
Booda?
Are you got like the finger thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, here. Hopefully I unlocked you.
I'm gonna do something else too. Oh, yep, I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot, man.
What?
I wanted to do Holy War there.
Okay, you don't have to.
I know, but it would have kept my Megius.
It'll be fine. Just heal me up, dog. Oh, they used the thing. Well, this might be we might have trouble. I have a feeling it's gonna bug.
Oh yeah, look at this. Oh no, we're okay.
So make sure you keep your. Actually, no, I'm gonna use Summon Spirits after this. Don't worry about it.
I just needed to come back to being able to be debuffed.
I got it.
Oh, that also does damage mitigation, right? Or no, it's a bunch of debuffs.
Yeah. A bunch of good debuffs.
Yeah. Okay. Then I gotta worry about it.
I mean, yeah, I just hope we don't run into the one damage bug.
One damage bug.
Just wait for it. Oh, we don't. Okay.
It's okay. I want to show off 2 tweaks.
Okay. Also doing shit to us.
Exactly.
Let's keep silence up. No buffs, please. No buffs. Yes, no buffs. Oh shit, the buff's here. Oh, here's the 1 damage.
The 1 damage.
Oh no.
What is that nonsense?
So, yeah, I'm gonna use. So sometimes when the boss gets the buffs in multiplayer, instead of like decreasing damage by a lot, he decreases it by like almost 100%.
Wow.
So let me just. See how we're doing 1 damage still here. Let me use another special to try to mitigate it.
But it'll go away eventually.
Funny.
Oh.
Should you reapply your debuffs, by the way?
That's what I'm working on.
And once we get out of this, can you use Megius' special?
Yep.
Please.
Right now?
Yeah.
I was working on debuff tweaks.
It's okay. Looks like it might have gone off. Hopefully we didn't get cucked by it. Alright. Alright, we got damage. We got damage. We return.
No.
Lo, just heal me. Just heal me up. Don't worry about your Meg. Don't worry about your Megas.
Hey.
Please. Don't worry about him.
There you go.
Alright, good. Even Meg is dead.
There you go, tweaks.
Oh, well, that was poor showing.
Credibility.
You know what's great about this one is that this, if you do enough damage, you can get to those like HP spots quick enough.
Mm-hmm.
He actually doesn't gain any buffs sometimes,
Hmm.
which I think is also a bug, but in a favorable player way. Because I've done this quest in 53 seconds when no buff has showed up.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty great, but doesn't always happen.
All right.
Word.
Well, that was
word.
a very beefy takedown of that boss. A
Yeah.
lot of level 10 UR arc skills.
I mean, you
used.
can. But the funny thing about that is you saw Megius, and I'm assuming you have a pretty good build on Megius. How different the survivability is between last year's anniversary unit and then Kyle plus melee. They just like take so much less damage against that boss.
Yeah, it hurts. It definitely hurts. I mean, the most recent unit I've gotten out of the last year's units would be Chun-Li.
God bless. I'm sorry, bro.
I know.
Ryu and Guile are pretty good, but Chun-Li,
yeah,
they screwed her up.
I have Veldora, but I don't like him, man.
I like Veldora. I don't think he's that useful in a lot of content, though. Belly's asking a question.
Belly? Where is he? Oh, you did bring that up.
Now, we're probably not going to be able to have a chance to go over that, so why don't we talk about it?
We are pushing the end of the... I'm sure you'll release a video or some type of graphic on it.
I mean, it'll be in the Discord. Like, there's not a problem with it. All right. Well, I mean, there's two options here. Number one, I think Belly's asking about the credential tickets, the Crimson Ore tickets that we will get. Now, I have two because I'm an idiot and bought the pack. And I thought there was going to be credentials in here, and I misread because I'm from Global and I can't read. So don't mind the fact that I have two tickets already. But this shop is going to have all of the credential tickets from any unit that has them released. That includes Shiv Zekas, okay? Now, you have a choice here to get anything you want. Reason being, or ability being, hold on, let me just double check something real quick. Yes, okay. So I want you guys to keep in mind that you will get one ticket next week and one ticket following. If you guys want a 50 credential equipment or aka 8,000 Crimson equipment in the shop, you will need 2 tickets to get it. My example being here is Shift Val's bow. Hers being a 50 credential equipment, 8,000 Crimson in the shop. Normally, it's going to cost you 2 tickets, but you can use 1 ticket for 4,000 Crimson equipment, aka 25 credentials. So in case you guys do want a 50 credit equipment or an 8,000 Crimson equipped, you will have to save your first ticket you get. Okay. With that in mind, there are a few equipments that I would suggest. Okay. Let's talk about the units that have just released, not just released, but are on the most sought after units for the unit tickets. And that's where it comes into matters, right? The most powerful equipments that you can get are on some of the most wanted units, right? Spirit Maiden Theria. She has a very, very good clothes. And now I'm gonna have to find this shit, aren't I? Probably near the top because the main characters.
You can filter it if you want to. Spirit Maiden. That.
Can I? What is this?
Great. I have no idea.
Sorry, what is that?
I don't know. Try armor.
I'll do armor at least. All right, it's at the top. Great. Maiden Robe Lacem is her clothes. I know it says robe. Stupid, but it's her clothes. This is very good, especially when you Godforge it. When you Godforge it to max, it gives an incredibly good buff to her. Very good survivability. I think it's auto mind, automatisse and such. I can't spout it off, but it's very, very good. And can be Godforged. I think a lot of this is kind of understated. Like, the better ones that you can choose from already have a good Godforged version. Hers robe is very, very good. Her staff, not so much. But her robe's very, very good. Accessories. Lennius's casting speed accessory is disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially Godforged. The Arcana Sophia Meldaga. This thing gives him 30% attack magic casting speed, which already puts him, combined with recast and high level magic, puts him at 80% cast speed, which makes him instant cast on his non-stacking magic. I know that was a lot of words, but it's very, very good on him. And Godforged, it turns into a menace. It gives like a bunch of MP as well as damage potential for him. Incredible accessory for Lennius specifically. Those two are easily the top 2 ones I can suggest. And after that, it's kind of like who do you use a lot? Who do you want to use and make them better? There are tanks that you could get stuff for. There are physical DPS. There are major supports. The most important thing is that even if the accessory is or the equipment is very, very good, it is still locked to the unit that you're using. You cannot use this with their shifts. You cannot use this on any other unit. So keep that in mind. If you're getting an equipment, a Crimson equipment for a unit that you don't use it often just because the equipment is good, like what's the point, in my opinion? Now, this does open up a lot of doors for people to get Crimson equips. I mean, it's essentially each ticket is worth 4,000 Crimson normally. So pick wisely. If you need something for PvP, GVG, there are some certain equips for some pretty meta units that are very, very useful. I mean, just for reference, for the units that we talked about, I noticed, or I mentioned SM Theory and Lennius already, but Zekis's robe is not very good. Like, it costs two tickets to get. It was 8,000 Crimson. It was 50 Crimson when it came out, and it's just not a very good robe. If you want it it doesn't increase his damage potential, and if you want damage potential on him, you'd rather just run the Godforged Fantasia Cape. Easy. So can you ignore that? Or you can ignore that. Shift Mia, Pog Mia, Proof 50 God Mia, actually her sword's okay. But there are other options for her clothes that I would rather do. Just as a matter of fact, like there's not something you would stick on her and just leave on her forever. Like, the reason why I suggest SM Theory's clothes and Lennius's accessory, because they're both very good units, and B, there's something you would essentially never take off of them in 99% of scenarios. So just keep that in mind. If you're going for the meta, great. There's options, and we can talk about it in the Discord when that happens. But if you're going for simpery and you want to get shit for your favorite units, by all means, go ahead. But just know that the 8,000 Crimson stuff you'll need 2 tickets for. Cool.
Cool. Still have some things on this list.
Okay, so, let's go. What's the next flow?
I think we should talk about the story update.
Story update, dude. Very epic. Story update was obviously the end of chapter 2, they said. So what was really cool about this last story, A, they tied a lot of things together. B, they introduced some units that I think we'll be enthused about in the next upcoming weeks. But also they showed us a preview of the next chapter, which I thought was really dope of them.
I didn't see that.
If you didn't, did you watch the live stream at all?
I did not watch your live stream.
Not my live stream, but more so the ATIS live stream.
Oh,
so they showed
yes.
Potential art for.
I did see that.
Chapter 3,
yep.
And which I love that they did. They got our, excitement flowing for what's up to come. Mm-hmm. They showed like dragon type.
Mm-hmm.
I think allies or villagers or whatever. They showed a new setting, just to get excitement rolling, because I think that's what they should do. Not only that, I mean, you saw Daddy Megius.
I did.
Shift Megius is like planned, part of his planning. The fact that he won the poll, and they are working on him. They just like gave us a little glimpse inside his creation.
I mean, that's what those crystals are getting saved for.
But this last story was great. I thought it was really cool. They went into the Almaria farm. This like soul factory stuff, Monolith Gate. I mean, this was a lot of boss battles. Like, honestly.
Yeah, it's similar to the end of Chapter 1 or Arc 1. They have that separate node that takes you into the realm.
Yeah.
Cool. It's cool stuff.
It was very cool.
Maybe a story live stream in the future. I don't know.
I mean, spoilers. I guess we can talk about a little bit about it, like spoilers wise.
I mean, spoiler alert, y'all. It's been out for a week.
Just spoiler. Just put earmuffs, please. If you care about it, if you haven't played the story yet.
Mute it.
Mute it if you want. Number 1, Kyle and Ray finally met up. They both evolved. Super Saiyan mode. Both of them went Super Saiyan.
I mean, Kyle went Super Saiyan, and Ray went Super Saiyan too.
Ray definitely went Super Saiyan, bro, but he has just a lot more fur to go yellow.
Well, he's got the lightning. I don't know how
lightning
much
or light. I couldn't tell.
DBZ nerd you are.
I couldn't tell if it was lightning or light.
That's lightning, bro.
But he was yellow, bro. I don't know. But anyways, they King Leodor actually freaking helped them, which was sick. They defeated Lilaha. Like, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. And I think that ties into a lot of what we're going to be coming to see next week. Is this leading to our flowchart, or am I screwing with this?
No, it kind of does. Mainly unit coming, and then I was going to transition into GACHA.
Okay, so let's talk about what's coming. If anyone has seen my video from last night, and I think that was just very funny that I just went in to record like what happened in story. And I was just like, we've been talking since Kyle came out, since Story Drop, like, who is going to be the second anniversary unit? Who? I think a lot of us think that it's going to be Shift Ray. And I think we all, especially after Shift Zekis getting his shift in last anniversary, and then us seeing Shift Kyle get his shift this one. I think it's very possible that all the main characters are going to soon get their shifts. And the newest, most prominent figures that we've seen in the last story update, and we know the next unit is story related, was A, Shift Ray, B, Leodor, and C, Lilaha. Those would be essentially the three options. And if you guys didn't see, the 5th anniversary logo was literally Kyle's sword and Ray's wing. So it's kind of just like telling us that that's what's happening.
I didn't know if you wanted to talk about, since we're talking about story, the new Godforge.
We absolutely could. There's a new little, I mean, I love that the fact that they're Godforging more of the main game weapons.
Yes.
Like, they have been so lax on giving us weapons over the course of like the entire game, right?
Yeah.
This has been a huge complaint for them for so long. Yes, once they started the Crimson Ore update stuff, that was cool and all, but they really, really toned down the prominence of generally applicable equipment that are being Godforged and improved, right? Because a huge majority of weapons in this game are largely useless or get outshined by something else. Like, most of the 4 stars, 5 stars, and 6 stars are all get mollywopped by 7-star, 8-star Godforges that we will never use again. Like, we just generally never use. Besides, like, having utilization in Maze and just being a random equipment that you can stack on, a lot of them don't have a lot of use or won't see a lot of use. So, they have made an effort to bring back and to Godforge a lot of the older equips. And now, I mean, I actually, unfortunately, Godforged some of them, but they're bringing back a way to Godforge some pretty awful equips. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm slacking a little bit. But yeah, that was something that they pointed out in the live stream, is that they've been focused on Crimson Ore equip enhancements and PvP updates and all of those things. Oh, wrong place. But it sounds like their focus is on shifting a bit. So here we go.
Just in Godforge Alchemy, I think.
Oh, it might be.
Which I have some stuff here, but
it might be, yeah, it's a little delayed. But I'm looking at it. It'll pop up.
No worries. But yeah, some good equips, and it's all ice focused now. There's an ice section in there. If you don't know how to get these Ivorfreeze ice and to upgrade these equipment, I mean, there is a write-up in Discord and how to get there and get all that stuff. So keep that in mind. It's not straightforward, I would say.
Yeah, and you can find, if you're new, both Discord links, mine and, more importantly, the Sassy Cat Discord, is in the description of this video.
For sure.
So yeah, cool. So after that, honestly, I kind of did that out of order. I should have done story, Godforge, and then Ray into GACHA, since it's related in that way. But
did we talk mostly about the GACHA already?
We talked about
you wanted to GACHA. You wanted to GACHA. That's what it was.
Because what would it be? A Booda live stream, a podcast without some spins, bro.
I mean, get to it, bro.
A GACHA game. I think we just start here with the little you know, whatever this is. I mean, it's nice. You can get, I got one new SSR from it, or two
With
actually.
The free spin. Ah.
The free spin. You know, it would have been nice if it was that, like, includes URs again. Wasn't that a thing at one point?
That was last, yeah, 4.5.
That was the Megius?
I mean, to be fair,
no, that was Zekis.
Unit, we got a UR ticket plus that crazy good free spins tickets for every day.
Oh,
this one we still got.
Ooh, I forgot. We didn't talk about that. They added fake out orbs, which is something I asked. I wanted, which it's. I feel like it's a gacha standard to have some sort of fake out, because then you can always
builds
have
excitement,
hope.
man.
It builds excitement. Yep. It releases some serotonin, right? That's what keeps us hooked on these games, for better or for worse. But I do like that little touch. I'm glad they did something, because updates on the gacha is exciting. It's half the reason people play these types of games. But anyway, that was the free spin. We got a little dupe. So here's my question, Tweacz. Well, let's try my feeble attempt with 3 tickets. If you had to pick, I already know the answer. Kyle or the UR Ark?
I would pick the UR Ark.
So would I, but I just am fanboying over the Super Saiyan.
So he looks cool. I mean, here's the thing. And like we've talked about a lot of parts in this game, units are a template in which you play this game. Like their kits and how you're going to synergize them. But arcs and the skills from them and the equipment,
yeah,
that's what's going to modify the gameplay.
They're timeless.
Timeless, right? They don't get power crept, in my opinion. Arcs do not get power. Arcs cannot get power crept because they're always a tool.
Well, Tweacz, for old time's sake, we're doing this one together. I see.
Well, you tell me when.
Well, I think we need to charge a little bit of key, as we used to do. So y'all,
I mean, I hope to give you my luck because I ain't getting shit here.
Throw some key in the chat for me to absorb. I haven't added anything to the curse mark arm. It's all the same. No updates there. Just added something to the left hand, if you know what I'm saying. You ready, Tweacz?
I'm ready. You tell me when.
3, 2, 1. Click. Here we go. All right. Would have been happier. I'm cracking on a blue. I would have been happier with an SR. Ready, set, tap. Let's see what we got. 1 flashback. Tweacz just staying at the blue. I got 2 flashbacks. It goes up to gold, and we get absolutely nothing. Man, that was a pretty good build up, if I do say so myself. But here's what I'm saying. Oh, look at you with those tickets.
I could. These don't help me at all.
I believe all tickets are done now. Yeah.
I don't know.
Think
I am paying attention.
I mean, how many updates are there for this? 3. So another one next week for the Crimson.
Yeah.
So they might throw tickets there. Here's my question to you, Tweacz. For the sake of the stream, for the sake of the gacha, and old time's sake, for the reunion, I'm willing to throw 3K at a banner. Now,
would you like me to instead? Since I have.
Would I like you to? I would like you to on my account. That'd be cool. But my question to you is, we've got Kyle's banner.
Arch being melee.
And we okay.
I mean, without question, I think she has much more longevity.
Okay.
I think she's way more useful. I know, bro. I know you want a fanboy. You know what?
Well,
if you want to do 3K on Kyle's, I can do 3K on hers because I still want more dupes of her, anyways.
You still want more dupes? Okay.
I'm not going for dupes, but I would be okay with it if I pulled a dupe of her rather than Kyle.
I think because for the sake of one, fanboying over Super Saiyan, and also the very slim chance of the UR,
Sure.
I want to go on this banner.
Okay.
And it's the highlighted banner, right?
Well,
although
you do that one, I'll do this one.
Melee, I really, really wanted her, dude. I was like, status ailment, modern DPS.
I mean, you know how good V's been.
Ridiculous, dude.
You know how good V's been. Mm-hmm.
So then, do we do 3 on both?
I mean, I don't see why not.
See why not.
I'll do a tall banner with you.
I just have to get 75k before Shift Megius shows up. That's the thing.
Good luck. Anyways.
All right.
You tell me. I'll go on. You say click, I click.
Click. We click. So, I think we go with the left hand, especially with the new edition. So, let's see what we can do. Let's see what the power of love has in
Oh my
store.
god.
3, 2, 1, click. And click again.
Double click.
Double click. Here we go. All right. Got a little Tyria. Cracking on an SR.
Yellow.
No squad.
You tell me to click.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, click. Here we go. One flashback for both. Oh, let me get this out.
I went up, baby.
You went up immediately. I'm still flashing, bro. I went up. You got 2 in the building. I've got a guaranteed unit going on. I'm trying to fix my green screen, so I'm like halfway. I'm focused on the wrong things. We got 2 things in the building. We got 1 dupe. Oh, and a second dupe.
You got Chevloia, bro. Hey,
Dang.
2 reds ain't bad. That's pretty good.
2 reds ain't bad.
Dang. Dang, man. Rates are rigged.
Rates are rigged.
Just kidding, obviously.
Well,
Well, you're gonna go one more in there?
we got.
Or you wanna go
We
one
got-
one for Arch being?
We need to try and walk away with
She's really
something.
good, bro.
I know she's really good. All right, here we go. You know what the final resort is. The awkward turtle. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
3, 2, 1, go. All right, come on, baby. Let's get something that's shiny.
Ready.
Both got Tyrius. We're both cracking on blue.
I got the full
but we've
crew,
got
bro.
full squads.
I got the full
And-
squad. I don't like the full squad.
Again, in 3, 2, 1, click. I've got no flashbacks going straight to yellow. You are straight to yellow. Well.
Buddy.
Oh!
I got a red.
The fake out would have been dope.
Where's my... Give me Arch
Oh,
melee.
you're just going again. 247 crystals. The
Oh,
double
Medina.
fake out.
Boo.
That's tough, man.
Eh.
We tried to
alright.
end it on a high.
I will survive.
You will be fine, my friend. You will be fine.
I need you to get some better next
I
time.
need to get some better things. So, you know how it is. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
what else do we got? What's coming in the future?
I mean, in the future, I mean, we kind of talked about the credential tickets. We talked about
Did that?
the next supposed upcoming unit is one of 3 units, and I assume it's gonna be shipped, right? Of course. Oh, merging.
Merging.
So the one that we didn't touch on, one of the big points of the live stream itself was the merging of 3 different servers, and I think they said it was gonna happen in the fall sometime, end of summer, fall sometime. They're gonna be merging the global server with Korea and Taiwan. And that means Korea and Taiwan are playing mad catch up right now. I think they're getting like unit banners every single week until they catch up
Wow.
and getting all their content and stuff caught up, getting to where we are at our state in the game, which is kind of insane. God bless to them and whoever's going to pull there. Sounds painful, extremely painful. But our 3 servers will be merging completely. I don't know. I feel like that's not a good sign for the health of the game, but
It's
just to make it, I mean,
It's
Yeah, go ahead.
my analogy or my comparison is stock split versus a stock merge. Is it a stock merge?
I don't know, bro.
You don't mess with the stock market much? Oh, that's a funny laugh.
You tell me.
I don't know. When a company splits their stocks and divides shares, that's usually the sign of good health. When they're bringing shares and combining them back,
right,
that's usually the opposite. And
it does not
see that the same as what's going on here.
I would have to agree with that. I mean, I like it. I like there's gonna be more players, and they talked about the health of the game. They talked about having more populated multiplayer, more populated arena time trials, arena time trials, GVG type stuff. Like they're really trying to get, especially Korea and Taiwan being even low, I think lower player numbers than us. They're trying to bring it up to a respectable level, and putting us all together. Now, and the funny thing is about that is that whenever I've played with multiplayer with people across the seas, it's really awful. So I would really appreciate it if they do this to fix their servers. How do we, I mean, seriously, fix their servers, fix the connection between players. Like I know so many games who have person-to-person multiplayer connection who run seamlessly. I could be playing with anyone around the world and there's just, there's some ping, but it's not like the screen's being vomited on by everybody. Like it's just annoying. Fix their servers. I will be excited to play against, myself and people included, like time trials and stuff. It's gonna be more bodies in there. Gonna be great, I feel. The only difference, and we haven't mentioned JP once, and that's because JP is technically not merging with us. Okay, JP is going to be their own separate server. There's now going to be a total global server with us and Taiwan and the Korea servers all combined. What is going to be combined is GVG. There's going to be a worldwide GVG battle where the JP guilds, the global guilds, the Taiwan guilds, and the Korea guilds all fight against each other for the top of GVG. So keep that in mind. JP is keeping their own time trials, keeping their own arena, keeping their own whatever, multiplayer. But against GVG, we are all going to be fighting each other, which is interesting. I feel like that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of GVG in general anymore. I mean, I've done my work with it. We've done pretty well. I got out. I'm happy. But for the people who still play it, just know that you will be fighting against the rest of the world. So it should be interesting.
Reverse split. I found the term.
Oh my god.
Anyway. It's late. It's late. Your boy Booda doesn't usually stay up.
It is late.
Anymore.
We've been live for 2.5 hours and can get to sleep.
I'm impressed though. I was expecting this to go on a little longer, but
really? This is a long one.
No, this is a long one. That's true. 2.5 hours. Usually it used to be 1.5, didn't it? But
standard, yeah.
Standard.
Pretty much standard.
Yeah, 2.5. But that was a packed update, man. A lot to catch up on.
There's so much good stuff in this update. I mean, the game is at a healthy level right now. Yeah. I think. Okay. At a healthy level with quotations, because while they have been adding quality of life stuff that we've been wanting for a while, there is a long way to go. Long way to go. And we need to continue to keep seeing improvements. They're being more transparent in what they're bringing to the table right now. And I really hope that continues, because I don't know if you guys were around during both the global, like, Lost Cloudia in streams, even the main anniversary live stream itself. I personally feel like they know they have their backs against the wall. The way they've been apologizing, the way they've been wording things, they know we're a bit peeved as a veteran player base. They have lost a lot of veteran players in the last few months.
It does seem that way, based on...
For good reason, though.
A little bit.
Like, we have been voicing our opinions, and a lot of them have been going unnoticed.
Yeah. And
I feel like they're starting to feel that. And if your veteran player base leaves, if you've no one to teach the new players anything, they'll just leave. Like, especially when your game isn't conducive to learning easily on it by its own, right?
Yeah. Turnaround becomes quicker. For sure.
Along those notes, and I think weird is I just something that I just thought of, and weird is I actually mentioned it as well. Can we give a quick shout out to friggin' Lake?
Oh yes, I wanted to talk about this. Thank goodness you remembered.
Okay, go ahead.
He updated Lake's gold mine, right?
He did.
When did that happen?
A few days ago.
A few days ago. I must have tried to go on the site the day he did it, because it was not long ago. I was like, what is this? Hold on, let me see what I can do here. Cause
I mean, you can go full screen with it, dude. Don't even worry about it.
I'm going to blow this up. If y'all don't know, we have done fundraisers for this man. Well, one fundraiser for this man in the past.
Yeah. Yes.
Shouted him out every chance that we could. He's obviously got a life. This is not his full-time job by any means. But a resource that, if you have not heard of it, is essential to be a Last Cloudia player, I would say. It goes hand in hand. Is something called lastcloudia-goldmine.com, or otherwise known as Lake's Gold Mine. This is a database built by one player. He may have had help from other people now and then, but completely done on his own time, on his own free will. And it is a database with all of the hidden details that you would never know just by reading what's actually in the game. All of the underlying, all of the underlying specifics to the way things actually work, how you would actually describe them, literally, rather than just the vague, I think they've stated before, Adis has stated before, oh, it's an RPG. We want to, kind of say things and then you have to figure out what it means. He gets down to the nitty-gritty, the exact percentages, the exact specifications to things. There's the effects of everything. The effects of everything. There's a lot of vagueness, which is their intention, from what I understand. They have stated, I think with Naki, when he got on, they stated that they were going to try and start adding more details, clarifying certain things, instead of something just saying, yeah, it boosts this character's magic attack, right? They've actually started including percentages, and Lake has been doing that for a very long time, prior to Last Cloudia even saying they wanted to try and do it. And it's all on this website. And I need to create a source for it, dude, so you can take over with whatever you want to say.
I mean, I'm waiting, dude. I love the site.
Okay.
I mean, here's the thing. The site itself, I've been using, even before I joined the Discord, even before I got super invested in the game, he had his spreadsheets out there of like just listed stuff of like, and I would just like look at it to read what I was missing and look at it. Like, his resources have been there since I started the game. And he's been working on the gold mine for a long time and working on this, like what he calls it, the God mode update, which is the new website, for a very long time. And honestly, at a lot of points, it felt like it was never going to finish, because Lake is one of those guys who just is he's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
He's a perfectionist. And so he wants it the way it's done, and he keeps finding new projects to improve, and it takes him forever. But this site and what his resources have brought to the gaming, to the global community for years and years, has essentially what a lot of people are saying in chat, he's carried this game on his back for a lot of us.
Yep.
So
here it is. I'm kind of right in the middle of it, but
you are. It's okay.
It's okay.
The main things, I mean, we can talk about how to use it and such, but the main things you would want to use, a lot of it is on the sidebar, right? So the main one you want to use, this first homepage is his like progress bar of what he needs to work on. Data is where you would want to go. And then you can switch in between units, arc skills. On the top right, whenever you go into any of these, is the filter button. And I would strongly suggest going to that, going to the leftmost tab. Yep. Filter. And then going to the leftmost tab, I think it's like called like data, display, and go to collection.
That is crazy.
Yep. And you can, I would keep it on the collection display for everything. because no matter what you type in, and you can go to like arcs, you can go to equipment, you can go to equips, or sorry, arcs and stuff. It'll list them as a like with an icon, which is much easier to sort through than just one by one. Mm-hmm.
And it'll just stay as you configure it, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Cookies are useful. And you can search between those, and you just, dude, it's so good. And a list, he's working on adding all of his descriptions, because I know a lot of the biggest factors of the gold mine itself was him having his own descriptions within. Not everything is transferred over. This is a very bare bones type thing where it has all the game's information already, but not exactly his. So as he works on it and as he gets everything put in, it's all going to be well fleshed out eventually.
And of course, as you guys utilize this, get familiar with it, a great motivator is money.
Yes.
And so, don't forget, if you ever have a little extra, this website comes in clutch for you to figure out something, right? Rather than getting a ton of different answers from different people in Discord. You just come here, and you dive into the data that he's mined. Just buy him a little coffee. Very important.
Absolutely. It doesn't cost. I mean, if you guys have been enjoying this for years, and especially the guys who've just like been coasting for the years, this new website's awesome, and it's only gonna get better. He has a lot of projects planned. I'm excited for it.
Let me see if I can find where we did
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, hasn't it? There it is. We fundraised 148 copies for the boy. That was a good time. That was a good time, dude.
Oh my god, that was a lot of coffees.
I said him that. He's like, oh, thanks. You know, he's just quiet. It was awesome. So yeah, shout out.
Does it cost him to run the website? Yes, I believe it does. There's a monthly fee for him.
So there you go. All the more reason.
So if you guys want to cut down on that cost for him, by all means, he's a goat. He is truly the goat. And this is not like a... I don't know. It feels a little bit fundraiser-y, kind of. Not really. But if you guys ever like suggest this website to people, you don't have to push it. But just like, dude, just hey, if you guys are having fun with it. Lake is a starving college student.
Literally.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, he is in college. I'm pretty sure he's still in school. But I'm pretty sure he learned most of this stuff from scratch, so I can appreciate that.
He's an impressive individual.
It's definitely a very good motivator.
Easily.
So.
Well, Tweacz.
Well, it was fun. It was a great reunion.
Have we come to the end?
Yes.
It was, my friend. Well,
I mean, I'm so excited for you. Like, legit.
Big updates.
Man to man.
Big updates, my friend.
Big updates.
So, for those that...
The family's growing.
For those that weren't here at the very beginning of the live stream, because I know we've had people kind of funneling in and out. And shout out to you guys for, like, turning up on this random... I mean, not semi-random, but, you know, your boy has not been posting. So, to see the squad come out for this reunion, I think it means a lot to both myself and Tweacz. And, yeah, for those of you that have been asking, saying, hey, Booda, good to see you. What's going on? Your boy's married. And the boy's starting a little family, as you can see behind me. Graduating to Booda dad status.
Daddy Booda.
Daddy Booda.
Let's go.
In the house. Coming September. So, big W's in the chat all around. You know, I'm still a good sport. We've joked around a little in Discord about, I've seen a couple comments like, oh, Booda's coming back to his love-hate relationship with LC, and it's, you know, I've been kind of casual with it. It's more acceptance. I think I know what the game is about. Like Tweacz said, you can kind of see they're trying to do certain things that we've been talking about for a while, so obviously they're trying to make amends in some places, you know. So we take the W's where we can. Some very, very good updates, some very good things to see with the game, which is why I wanted to jump on this. I thought it'd be a good time to share what I've been up to. Catch up with the boy Tweacz, since he's kind of going into a bit of semi-retirement with content creation
I mean, just
consistency.
doing whatever the hell I want.
But he's doing whatever he
Yeah.
wants, which is what he's always done. But I figured it'd be a good time just to reminisce, feel the nostalgia, and I will say I have not been disappointed. Tweacz, thank you for coming out, showing out, as always.
No problem. I'm glad you hit me up. It's been fun.
It was a blast. No, this is not a declaration that the content's starting. I don't want to just leave people hanging if you're wondering if that's going to happen. I was thinking about doing like one of those typical, stereotypical YouTuber things. If this video gets 500 likes, I'll start posting again.
I mean, this video should have a shit ton of likes. I don't know what you guys are all doing in the chat. 100%. Please like it.
It's got a good amount of likes. Y'all have been showing up. But at the very least, I'm kind of in that same mode, right? Life is coming at me very quickly. A lot of new stuff incoming, so to promise consistency on content creation, I just don't want to do that and then not come through like I've done a couple times before. So I think I want to try and find time to have moments like this to definitely still show out for whoever's going to show up and just hang out, game, and do what we've done for the last few years. So for those of you that want to stick around for that, thank you. For those of you that want to keep your subscription funnel nice and clean and filtered, I understand that too. But regardless, tonight was fun. Any last words, Tweacz?
Oh, it's been fun. I appreciate the reunion. I appreciate seeing Crypty in chat. Daniel's been around, so it's been definitely nostalgic recently. So I'm happy for you. I'm excited to see where the game's going, and excited to hear more about where you in life are going. Hell yeah.
We'll be back for Daddy Megius, because we'll see how that timing lines up with boy Booda and the dad.
I can't wait. That's exciting.
Maybe I'll be holding a little. I'll be holding a new little good luck charm during a summon session or something.
I'd be dead. I'd die.
That'd be wild. But anyway, I think that's all we got for you this time. And to close out the video, y'all know what we say. Work hard, play harder. Love you all. See you next time.